Well, it's late night chat. Well, I say late night. It's hardly late night, is it? 9:10 at night. Good evening. Welcome to today's United Kingdom Talk. It's Tuesday, the 17th of April, 2018. Now, I must warn you, we could at any moment be taken off air by Russian hackers, boys and girls. Russian hackers trying to break into our systems here in the United Kingdom, darling. And I believe, I haven't actually been told, but I actually believe that this programme is one of the targets by the Russian hackers. At any moment, we could be taken off air. So be prepared. If I suddenly disappear, you know what? No one cares, though, do they? No one cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So do be aware of that. If we suddenly go off air tonight, it might be due to Russian hackers hacking in to this worldwide famous programme. Yes, there we are. So good morning to you. Good evening to you, rather. I've had my hair cut today. I was looking a bit blue yesterday. Did you notice that? The show we did yesterday morning, I was looking a bit blue. There was something wrong with the camera settings. You wouldn't believe the amount of things you have to do before you sort of start chatting away inanely to a camera in front of you. There's all these little adjustments you have to do. And nothing ever seems to save. You know, tomorrow, when I switch it on again, it will all have reset itself and you have to do it all over again. There doesn't seem to be a way of saving all these settings. But never mind. I've been to Slimming World today, boys and girls. Oh, my God. I've gone up another £0.5 pound. I've gone up. And in the last 5 weeks, every week, it goes up another £0.5 pound. I'm not quite sure. Now, last week, what did I do last week? Well, I went for one afternoon tea. And in that same day, I had 2 scones and they were tiny. I'm telling you, once again, we went to Selfridges, not for the afternoon tea. I went to Selfridges to order some more jeans. And let me just turn that air thing off just a minute now. How do I turn that off now? Is that off or on? Off. Yeah, I went to get some jeans. Before we got there, we'd had a bit of a drive there, so we thought we'll have a couple of scones before we start. So we went in Dolly's tea rooms, which is kind of on the basement in Selfridges. And it's all very nice. Lovely bloke doing the service and all that. Can I help you at all? Yes, he wants a cake and a tea, and I'll have a couple of scones and tea. Over came these scones. Well, I'm just trying to find something. They were smaller than this. They were smaller than that. God, they were tiny, these things. I'm sorry, I can't recommend food in Selfridges at all. It all looks very pretty. There's just not much of it. I mean, how much does it cost for a bit of flour and a few sultanas mixed together, for God's sake? So I won't be going there again, you know, and it was a reasonable price. That would have been about 18 quid for those 2 items. But there you go, it's one of those things. I can't remember where I was going with that story now. What was I just talking about? Someone tell me. Meanwhile, let's say hello to you. Good morning to Gustav, who thinks I'm drunk and off me head. I don't drink, Gustav. Only a glass of champagne at afternoon. There we go. I've remembered now. So I had 2 scones downstairs there. Then I went to get the jeans, and then we went to afternoon tea at the Mandarin Oriental. You may have seen that video that we showed you last week. Oh, incidentally, remember the problem I've got with the camera, with my iPhone at the moment? When I go like this, it jerks. Okay, only one way. It's all right that way. When I go that way, it kind of goes like that. Anyone else have that with their iPhone? So I've been meaning to reset it. I eventually did it yesterday. Now, I've done the simple reset, which you simply do on your phone. You go into the general settings and bits and pieces like that, and it says reset phone, and you do that, and it asks you again, do you still want to do that? And you do that, and you reset it, but it leaves all your photos and everything else on there. All your programs, not called programs, are they? What are they? Apps. Leaves all the apps on there and all that business. And I think it just overwrites the operating system, which then is switched back to like factory setting, which means that every time you try and do something, it asks for your permission again, including Wi-Fi. You know, it forgot all the Wi-Fi and all that. But so that's slowly coming along, and I'll see if that works now. All right, we'll see. Keep fingers crossed that works. So I had that. We had the afternoon tea at the Mandarin Oriental, and then Saturday night, I was just about to start work, and the manager at Central Station where I work Saturday nights do a little bit of DJing in there on Saturday night. He brought down a veggie burger and chips, you know. So I had that, but that was all. That was my only kind of extras last week, and yet it's still going up £0.50 a blooming week. I can't understand it. Anyway, so I am now morbidly obese. I am £3 over my target range, which means I'm right at the very end. Sorry, my target weight, which means I'm right at the very end of my target range. Now, if I go over that now, so it's 12 stone, £3. If I go over that now, then I have to pay £4.95. Like we can afford to pay shell out money left, right and centre, dear. Not after Bastine been to collect my dry cleaning, and I'm not happy with that either. I'll show you in a minute. This has been dry cleaned. This has come out all right, hasn't it? This is pretty clean. It was getting a little bit dirty, this. So I'll show you my dry... I'm not happy with Mrs. Tahid this week down at the dry cleaners. It's all fallen apart since Mrs. Patel left. We've got Mrs. Tahid now. Why, she ain't doing her job properly. I'll show you in a minute. Right, let's say hello to some of you. Good evening to Lee Marshall. Good morning, Lee, from Gorgeous FM. Ba-da-ba-ba. Gorgeous FM in stereo. Live from Birmingham, the home of the world's ugliest Selfridges building. It's Lee Marshall. Perhaps I could do a little jingle for you, Lee. Would you like that, lovey? Would you like a celebrity such as a star such as myself doing a jingle or two for you? Perhaps you'd like that. Good evening to Mari. Evening, Mari. I'm glad you heard your little your foreign Barry Manilow song yesterday, which I seeked and located especially for you. It's Wendy's one next week. Wendy's got a song next week. She's already put in her order. We do a new thing now on Monday mornings. Not next Monday because I'm away, but Monday mornings I get you to choose the music for the show. Although I took too many requests. There was one we didn't get to. What was it now? Just a minute now. Let's see if I can find that now. There it is. There was one I didn't get to. Mark, All for Love, Rod Stewart. We didn't quite get to that one. But we got to all the others, so I mustn't take too many requests on a Monday. So we do that during the chat show, and then I do the music and chat show at 10 o'clock, and everyone's chosen their music. Even better, you see. Wonderful. Greetings to Ibrahim. Morning to you, sir. Evening. I keep saying morning. Evening to you, sir. Watching via one of the Learn English websites. Welcome to you too. Gustav is loving the new titles. Well, it just shows you how long you haven't been there, hasn't it, Gustav? Huh? They've been on there for months, mate. I mean, how thick can you be? Months. That was done in November, those new titles. New titles? November they were filmed. It was blooming cold on top of that boat, I'll tell you that. You have to make sacrifices when you're a huge star like me. Exactly. He says, I'm sure they are not all the places Chris sees when he works the rubbish barges from Dagenham to London and back. Do you know, I've never been to Dagenham. I think I might have driven over it. Is there an overpass there? I don't think I've ever been to Dagenham. What a ghastly place. Isn't that where they make all the Fords? All the Fords. Have you not got a place there, Gustav? You live in one of those White City estate, don't you? Is that where you live, in one of those ghastly hard-to-let properties in West London? I'm sure that's where you are. Good evening, Diane Jebb. Andy Baker's there. Hello to the delightful Matt Gardiner, who's now got a boyfriend. And he's a lovely bloke called John. His name's John. He wasn't interested in me. You know, I'm not one to throw myself at people. I will mention that, you know. I just drop subtle hints, you know. I don't like lay on tables in front of anyone or anything like that. I just, you know, oh yeah, quite nice to go out with you for a meal. No, nothing. Another one that rejected me. Rejected, unwanted and unloved. That's me. I'm an orphan as well, because I haven't got my mum and dad now. I come across that word when I was watching a new programme on Netflix that I'll tell you about throughout the course of the show today. An excellent programme I've discovered on Netflix. There's a whole series of them. And it's about this little girl, and she is an orphan. And I realised I am an orphan now. I am a morbidly obese, unwanted orphan. I mean, it just gets worse and worse. Life gets worse and worse here in Bracknell. It really does. Not only that, we've had a death. Oh, I don't dare tell you. I mean, I don't want to bring the unhappiness of the show down before we've even started, but there has been a death. There has been a death. Boys and girls, this morning, just before I left the television studios known as United Kingdom Talk, I had a look out into my garden when I got my bike out, to cycle to Wokingham to have my hair cut and to get the bad news from Slimming World telling me that I'm morbidly obese. Apart from that, as I was walking out in my garden, there it is in the middle of the garden. A little dead frog. This is very sad. Now and again, I've seen this frog and it hops around the garden. Usually goes somewhere dark and moist. Perhaps you've got somewhere like that. I know a few people with dark, moist places. I really do. It usually hops over somewhere that's dark and moist. And it was laying in the middle of the garden. And sometimes I give it a little tap on the back. Helps it on its way. And then it jumps. Boing, 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 boing. Not moving, was it? I said, hello, Mr. Frog. How are you? Nothing. Nothing. I got closer. It's dead. Got a dead frog in the garden. But we must respect animals as well as human beings. And therefore, I think we should sing to the frog. One of my favourite hymns of all time, How Redeemer King Divine. For the frog. Hail Redeemer King Divine, Priest and Lamb, thy throne is thine. King of love shall never cease, Prince of everlasting peace. Angels, saints, and nations sing, praised be Jesus Christ our King, Lord of life, of sky and sea, King of love on Calvary. I'm sorry I'm only doing the one verse today. We haven't got time to do the whole verse, but I'd like to dedicate that to the frog, sadly no longer with us, that was discovered this morning in my garden. Not only that, he had a little red cut on his head, so I don't know if something fell on it or it was attacked by an evil bird. You know what they're like? I've got magpies round here, dear. You don't dare leave anything on the floor, huh? Peck, 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 peck. They're in and out the window nicking things from me, dear. I was nearly stolen from my own bed the other day by this blooming great magpie that flew across with its wings like that. Evil things. Evil things. Magpie. That's probably what happened. It was attacked by a magpie or something like that. Ghastly creatures. Anyway, goodbye, frog. Probably going to a better place than this, where it's unlikely to be hacked by a Russian submarine. Good evening, Danny Gibbs. Oh, blimey. Danny's been for a date tonight. That was about 8 o'clock and he's back already. Oh dear. Didn't go too well then. Or did you rush back because you saw I was about to do a show? I think that is the case, yes. Oh, Danny, that was the quickest date ever, weren't it? About an hour. Oh, dear, you must tell me what happened, Danny. I'm dying to know. Good evening, Kevin Webster. Sarah Lou Lace. Hello, Sarah, darling. Right. Hello, Sam. Welcome to the show, Sam. The Russians are after my mirror ball. They don't have mirror balls in Russia. No, I don't believe they have mirror balls in Russia. I mean, I've got a lot of vodka, a lot of jewellery and all that, but no mirror balls. Perhaps I should take that over to Mr. Putrid himself and give it as a gift from the people of the United Kingdom. Huh? There's nothing wrong with the Russians. It's all politics, dear. It's all politics. Nothing wrong with anyone in the world. I'll tell you that now. It's not normal people like you and me. Well, I mean, I'm not normal. I'm a big star, as you well know. But normal people like yourselves, there's no problem like that at all. You know, it's all the politicians. I've met some lovely Russian people, dear. Beautiful boys over there. They really are. Gustav says, so does a proctologist. Oh, yes, if you say so, dear. Sarah, chips and veggie burger at Central Station. Do you think that's what it is, Sarah? It might have been. And they said, do you want the veggie burger, but not in the bun? Oh, well, what's the point in having it then? You know, if you're going to have a veggie burger, have it proper, in a bun. Otherwise, not at all. Now, do you do BMI? Anyone done their BMI? You've got to get your weight and your height and all that. Well, apparently, let's have a look here. I'll come back to your messages in a minute. But apparently, now Wendy sent me a little link on the BBC website, like a video thing. I've also found the story. Thank you very much for that, Wendy. I've also found the story in the Telegraph, and it's a few years old. Now, you know all this BMI. Oh, your BMI has to be so and so. And you get your calculator. I can never work out stuff like that. I'm not very good with maths at all. You know, so I sometimes on the show I do work out temperatures for people because people like, you know, to know the comparison between centigrade and Fahrenheit, where centigrade is a bit foreign. It's a bit too foreign for me. Fahrenheit, I understand. I understand. Well, I say that. You know, when it comes to centigrade, I seem to use that for cold weather. So if I was to say to you, tomorrow will be 0 degrees centigrade, you know that's going to be damn cold. You're not going to have to have your little furry hat with your dead cat around the outside of it, dear, otherwise known as a parka anorak. It's going to be cold. But if I said to you, it's going to be 80 degrees Fahrenheit, now you know that's quite hot. But how does 25 degrees centigrade sound? It doesn't sound all that, does it? So, I don't know why, but in my mind, cold weather is worked out in centigrade and hot weather is worked out in Fahrenheit. And I don't know why that is. Isn't that strange and mysterious? It really is. So that's it. Anyway, going back onto the BMI thing. This story in the Telegraph a couple of years ago, and it says a piece of string is the most accurate measurement. Oh, hang on. Where are you going over? There we are. There you are. A piece of string is a more accurate measure of dangerous weight gain than the controversial body mass index, it says here. All that time you're sitting there with your little calculator working out this, that and the other, waste of time. It says simply measuring the height with string, folding it in half and checking that it can fit comfortably round the waist is a better way of discovering if someone is carrying too much body fat. Now it says currently are you an obese person? Must do something about that, my love. Don't want to die early, dear. Please don't die early. I can't afford to lose any more viewers, dear. It's low enough as it is. Currently, most doctors use BMI, which measures weight against height to calculate whether a patient is at risk of disease. Have you got any diseases? I've got a couple in here myself, to be honest. Critics say that it can overestimate the danger posed to people with heavy bone structures. That old one. I'm not fat. I've got heavy bone structure. I'm not fat. I'm not fat. There's all these excuses, dear. I hear all these at Slimming World. Oh, I only had half a sausage roll. Why have I put on 10 pounds? Because you're lying. It says large muscle. Oh, that's the other one. Large muscle mass. They come into Slimming World. They say, oh, I've put on a bit of weight this week, and it must have been because I was doing more exercising. Therefore, the muscles weigh more, don't they? Do they? I don't think so, darling. You've been having a couple of cheese and onion pasties this week, haven't you? Yes. As I say, large muscle mass, while missing apple-shaped people who are carrying dangerous levels of fat around their middle. Many global studies have also concluded that a person is at lower cardiovascular risk if they keep their waist measurements to less than half their height measurements. So, here we go, boys and girls. So, what I've got here today, one moment, I think you're going to have to get that date up back on the on the thing to show you. Does a date come back up? It does, doesn't it? Oh, no, is there no, that's that one. Is that one? Oh, no, you don't need that. Right, okay. So, what I've got, there's 3 cameras in here, dear. This isn't done on the cheap, love. It's proper studio, dear. I'm not in a bedroom talking to you on an iPhone. 3 cameras in here. Sound, microphones, lights, everything. Got everything. Everything. Right. Now, I haven't got a piece of string. However, I have this yellow ribbon. Oh, tie a yellow ribbon round the old duck. So we are now live going to see if my height and width ratio are correct live on this programme. This is probably the most exciting moment of your week. Now, when I stand up, you may lose my head. I'm warning you that, okay? So first of all, I should take my coat off. my my rather well cleaned jacket. Mrs. Tahid at the cleaners has recently cleaned this. Now, I did give her something else to clean, and I'll show you that later because I'm not happy. Right, here we go then. I'm going to have to stand up for this. You might lose my head. I thought you would. Right, so first of all, I've got to measure from top to bottom. So how do I do that? I'm going to put that yellow ribbon there. Right, and put it up to here, I suppose. Okay, so that's kind of... I know you can't see my head. Right, so you just have to trust me. So that's... Do you reckon that's about right? So now I've got that right in the middle of my head, do you reckon? Okay, so in the middle of my head, there it is. Shall we chop that off? 1 moment, please. Got everything here. Scissors as well. Look. So we'll do that, right? We'll do that. And I shall double check this now. So I just want a little bit under my foot, don't I? Just a little bit under the foot. We don't want to be cheating, dear. You only cheat yourself with these things. 1 minute. Cheat. Right. That's that there. Oh, no. I can't stand on it now. Are you doing this at home, gang? Oh, it's like a Blue Peter moment, isn't it? Oh, do you remember that Connie Huck on Blue Peter? She was horrendous, weren't she? Okay, so that I reckon that seems about right to me. Yes, I think that is the case. Right, so we've done that. Now, what's it say? You've got to fold it in half and check it fits comfortably around the waist. Okay, so we'll fold it in half. There we are. Folding it in half and see if it fits comfortably around the waist. Oh. Must be the shirt. Oh, Wendy. Is this where my... No, hang on. I'm going around my stomach here. No wonder it won't fit. Going to have to just a little bit. No, just a little bit. You're not seeing no flesh. Don't start complaining, dear. Oh, there's this bloke on... Go on, right to Facebook now. Go on, do it. Oh, there's this bloke on Facebook and he's showing us flesh. Pathetic. Just delete your... Oh, that's better. Here we go. Now, hang on. Oh, God. So... Oh, nearly. Look, nearly. I'll pull it a bit tighter. There we go. Now, actually, so really, I reckon that's my waist. So we're about half an inch. That's about half an inch before it will actually join up there. So I think that's pretty all right, don't you? What do you reckon on that? There you are. You're going to have to try that yourself, you fat gits. All right? Oh, dear. That's better. Well, that didn't quite work for me, did it? But never mind. I like to do these things live on here so that then you can take the mick out of me. Because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Just taking the mick out of me while I'm sitting there. So clearly, I told you, I'm morbidly obese now. Absolutely morbidly obese here. Terrible. Terrible. Right, where's those messages? Just a moment, please. I think we've lost some of them here. Oh, dear. Kevin James says, I thought you'd have a bit of crumpet. Oh, I do like a crumpet, Kevin. Oh, I haven't had crumpets for over a year. Over a year I haven't had crumpets. With butter and marmalade on. Or beans on crumpet. That's quite nice. Beans on crumpet, isn't it? Thank you. Let's have a look there. I think we're going to have to go to the top. I'll have to go to the top, so I'm going to be missing out some of your messages, my darling. We can't read them all, I'm afraid. There's so many of them. Wendy says, no, it's not all right. Lose a few more pounds. Oh, Wendy's telling me to lose some more pounds. Yeah, probably about 5 with looking at that. Dear me, it's not... Oh, Wendy's told me off now. I've got to lose some more weight again. Oh, dear. It's so hard. Matt's lost 11.5 pounds in the last 3.5 weeks. Well, how did you do that, Matt? You must be running around and doing so much exercising, lovey. All that exercise. But mind you, you've been dancing around on the stage somewhere, haven't you, Matt? He does theatre stuff. Oh, yes. He's on big stage productions here. Big stage. We haven't got normal people watching this. We have famous people watching this programme. Oh, Danny wants to call in. Why? What have you done there? What have you done of interest to tell us about Danny? You better not be boring on the phone. You better not be boring on the phone. I'll open the lines in a minute. Let me just do some messages first. All right, darling? Because people are kind enough to send in their messages. We must do some of them. Adam, 6 donuts and 8 chocolate bars and a pizza and kebab this week. Is that you? That's outrageous. Sarah says, my BMA is 41. I like pasties more than I like slimming. Trying to change things for the healthy. Yeah, well, I mean, are you happy though, Sarah? If you're happy as you are, then that's fine, isn't it? You see? That's fine. Hello to the delightful Ricky Bentley, married recently to Guy, who says, I was playing around with my iPad and managed to get me on the big TV. I must look fantastic on a big TV. In fact, I do. You know, often when I finish my show, I go down and I watch myself all over again. Because let's be honest, it's the only decent thing on a telly now, isn't it? My shows. It's just that BBC One haven't realised that. Good evening to Lisa Rand, who says, sorry about your green friend. Here he is, hopping to frog heaven. I hope so, Lisa. Oh, I often saw him out there. Hello, Mr. Frog. And he'd see me and he'd stay and then he'd hop off somewhere dark. Now, he's gone now. Mind you, I do have a couple of cats come into the garden. My one of my neighbours right down the end there, Phil. Oh, he's a lovely bloke. He's got a nice family. Phil, there's his missus. And then there's his son, Reese. He's the one that fixes the cars round here. Do you know what I mean? Every housing thing has got that, haven't they? They've all got someone who fixes the cars, and that's him. And his son's always doing stuff with cars. I think he's going to do that stuff as well. And he's got 2 lovely cats, a black one and a ginger one, and they often come into my garden. Do you think it was them? I don't think cats eat... The trouble with cats, they kill things and don't eat them. What's all that about? I think cats should become vegetarians. Carrots only, and that's it. Evening to Joey Millam. Graham Lang's there. Good evening, Graham. Thanks for your YouTube link, which I can't play while I'm chatting away, I'm afraid, Lisa. So, Graham, so thank you. Lisa's in the USA. Whereabouts are you, Lisa? I'm off to the USA end of the year to Las Vegas. Oh, yeah, Las Vegas. British Airways. Looking forward to that. Gustav says, give up on Slimming World. Next time you're at Central Asia, I'll happily call you a fat cow and charge you £5 for the privilege. Consider it a public service. Honestly, you're always on the make, aren't you, Gustav? I know things are hard for you, darling. You need to get back down that benefits office and find another form to fill out. You know, if you turned up at the correct time, Gustav, for your meetings, then you wouldn't keep having your payments cut, would you, lovey? Honestly. There are a lot of people on benefits watching this show at the moment. I know a lot of you have had your benefits cut and all that because you're not turning up for your interviews on time, are you? Huh? I'm sorry, Gustav. I'm sorry that life has dealt you such a terrible set of cards. If it's not money, it's your looks. I mean, for God's sake, man. I'm sorry. I can't, there's nothing I can do about it, you know. If perhaps you'd become a Catholic like myself and gone to church and prayed every day, you wouldn't be in that situation. But no, you're Church of England, aren't you, lovey? And everyone knows that's a pretend church, love. It's a pretend church, darling. Good evening to Heidi. Heidi's with us. And Hamza. Greetings, Hamza. Welcome to the show. Graham's developed a croak in his throat over the frog. Oh, dear. You've got that croak of you. I saw a story Monday, I think, in the paper that said there was a certain croak that you get, and once you hear that croak, you've got about 24 hours to live. So there could be another death while we're on air today. Hello, Mark Kempner. Wayne is there as well. Matt you didn't steal John from me. I don't think he was interested in the first place. It was just egging me along. That's what was going on there. Eloise, good evening to Eloise. Welcome to the show, Eloise. Good. Let's have a look. Lisa's in New Jersey. Next state over to New York. I've been to New York a couple of times. New York for me, Lisa, a little bit too busy. It's just busy all the... I mean, Vegas is the same, but New York is just constantly busy, isn't it? It's not really my thing. I'm not really a city holiday type person. The thing is with Vegas, you can go to the Grand Canyon. I have been once before. I'm taking my nephew this time, and we'll be going to the Grand Canyon. He likes to do the shopping. They've got outlets at either end of the road there, haven't they? What do you call it? The strip. either. There's an indoor one and an outdoor one. Actually, the indoor one I didn't really think much of. The outdoor one at the other end is much better. So there we are. Right, Danny wants to call in. So there you go, Danny. Call in now. 020 8144 3477 if you want to call in, Danny, and I'll take your call. Gonna have to lose a couple of pounds there, I think. Definitely have to lose a couple of pounds. Right, now, just before Danny calls in, can you hang on a minute, Danny? Look at this. So I took two of my sofa throws into Mrs. Tahid at the dry cleaners, and here they are. And the reason I generally take them in once or twice a year anyway. Yeah, and it's not cheap, is it? It's not cheap to have these things done. And let's just take Danny and put him on hold there. 1 second. I think that's Danny there. 1 minute. Hello, Danny. Is that you?
Good evening. Hello. Yes,
good evening. Right, hang on a minute. Let me just show them this for a second. All right. So here is my my throw. Okay, it's nice brown colour. Right. And what happened?
Just to let you know.
What happened is that I was eating a meal. And I leant over, and I had it was a badly done curry. I tried to cook it myself, and it wasn't very nice at all. I won't lie to you, it wasn't nice at all. Anyway, so this is on my lap, and then I wanted to charge my phone up, and I noticed that the wire had dropped down by the side of the chair, and I leant over, and I got my plate on a tray on my lap. That's how I usually have dinner, okay? And I felt it move, and I thought, oh, I'll have to be extra careful. Extra careful. Did I move the plate in the tray? No. So I leant over a bit more and whoosh! Onto the floor, and the throw it went. Curry onto the floor and onto the throw. So I took them both in. I've got two because I've got a very large corner settee thing that I got from John Lewis a few years ago, a couple of years ago. Now, of course, I can't find the blooming stain now, can I? Hang on a minute. And it's awful. It really is. Oh, hang on. Is that it there? 1 minute. I think that's it there. 1 minute. Oh, I can't find it now. Oh, here. Is that it? Oh, I can't find it now. Hang on a minute. Let's have another look here. Don't take any notice of my trousers. I don't bother putting nice trousers on while I'm here because you don't usually see those, do you? Well, I can't find it now, can I? Maybe it's on the other side. 1 minute. Where is this now? Well, I saw it earlier. Where is this mess then? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Right, okay, here we go. Here we go. There's part of it. And it's really obvious. There we are. Yep, you can see that, can't you? Okay, that's just part of it there. And I kid you not, it's obviously been washed. Well, it smells clean, but it's not. And the blooming curry stains are still on it, so I'm really disappointed. And it cost 50 quid to have two of those done. 50 quid to wash something. I should have put it in my own blooming washing machine and been done with it. Honestly, I would have got better results than that. Right, Danny, I'm with you. Isn't that shocking, Danny? Good afternoon good evening, Shane. Welcome to the show, Shane. What you got, Danny?
Well, how are you anyway, first things first?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Firing on all cylinders tonight, dear. Firing on all cylinders, but I didn't bring a cup of tea up, unfortunately, so, but never mind. Carry on.
Well, obviously, we were talking last week, I think it was, wasn't it, me and you? The whole thing with BBC and their remake of Generation Game.
Yes, Generation Game, yes.
How awful was that?
Oh, it was dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. I've never seen so much rubbish in all my life, dear. Awful. They should leave it alone.
They weren't even funny.
No, and I tell you what, as hosts, they're okay, but it's the wrong show for them. There was the bits, you know, when people are making things on there, for example, the Potter's Wheel, and they were kind of walking around them. Well, they looked so awkward and out of place. It was like they didn't know what to do with themselves. Whereas
Yeah.
Larry Grayson and Bruce Forsyth, I thought were fantastic hosts. In fact, actually, I would say there were times that I think Larry was better than Bruce. I don't know if you know, but Larry actually had the bigger audience share.
Yeah, he did. He had 25 million in his.
25 million people watch that show, almost as many as watch this program.
Yes, yes, I can agree with that. Yes.
Yeah.
But also, I was talking on my show yesterday. If you kindly had a listen, that Noel Edmunds is now pitching to come back on national television with his house party.
Done that story 2 days ago. You're well behind it, aren't you, love? Oh, dear me. We done that story on Monday, love.
Yes,
How
I know,
far...
but I'm saying...
Oh, of course. I know what you're going to say.
Because obviously I'm not able to view your shows constantly because I do have a multinational award-winning radio show to present.
Yes, you do. And it's nice that you recycle old news stories 2 days later. Would you like to tell us what radio station that you're on, darling? So we can avoid it at all costs.
Wales.
Sorry?
Splash Radio Wales.
Da-da-da-da-da. Danny Davies on Splash Radio Wales. Don't you wish you had the freedom that I've got?
Me and you have had a conversation off air many times, haven't we, about certain things.
Freedom, yes.
But do you actually think it would work?
What?
Noel Edmunds back on national television?
Don't know. No idea. Do you know why the show was taken off in the first place?
Because he had a death, didn't he?
That's right. Yes.
During was it gotchas?
It was an accident. What happened is that a man went into a wooden box. And I think, if I remember rightly, this was at Television Centre. Okay.
Where ITV is doing This Morning from.
Oh yeah, I've got that story standing by. Got that story standing by in a moment.
I broke it already. Sorry, love. Sorry,
Well,
carry on.
I mean, these people who ring into the show and take over, honestly, dear. Shocking. Anyway, so this bloke was hoisted up in a wooden box, and he went up and up and up on a crane, and something went wrong, and the box fell off.
Yeah,
and he went crashing to his death down at the bottom. Terrible. The show was taken off and never came back.
No. That was during the original series. Then they brought it back.
Oh, it's already been brought back once, has it?
It's already been brought back once. Yeah, they brought it back.
On what side?
On BBC. But they changed the set because he used to have the house, didn't he?
Yes.
And then he went off air for a few years, and then he got brought back, but he didn't do the gunge element on the show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you Google it right now, Google it when I'm on the Google it. Go on.
Oh, okay. But you like my producer now, are you, darling?
Yes. Yeah. Go on. We like things like that.
Edmunds house party. One moment, please. Wikipedia. Do I want Wikipedia?
Yes. Go to the Wikipedia.
Let's have a look here. Written by. Number of series is 8. Number for episodes 166 plus 17 series. Original network BBC One, colour.
Yes, obviously.
Well, it says 1991 to 1998. That's it.
Yeah, 1998 was the last one he ever did.
Right.
So because they changed the set, because remember they used to have the fireplace at the end, didn't they?
With
all the guns and all that.
There's no break there.
Yeah, that's the last one they did. But
you said it got taken off and then it got brought back. So which is it?
Yeah, it didn't die on the last episode that they ever did. It was back when he was in the old set because they changed the set.
Oh, I don't know. I can't comment on this because I thought it was taken off when he died and that's it. It never came back again. Maybe it says something about that, does it? Number Cruncher, Mr. Blobby, no. Here we are, series is 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99.
Can you hear that beeping in the background?
Yeah, what is that noise, dear?
That is my oven. Bear with me 2 seconds. You carry on talking. Bear with me.
Your oven?
Yes, I cook, dear.
What am I supposed to do now while you go off and do your blooming dinner? Oh, let me do Well, that's a very strange noise. They are. The Russians are coming through, dear. The Russians are coming through. Good night, Carsten. Oh, it's my friend in Germany, Carsten. Hello, my darling. Sarah says, my throws go straight in the washing machine. Bugger dry cleaning. Well, I think I'll be doing that in future. But for 25 quid, she can bloody well do that again, dear. 25 quid to wash a couple of throws. It's outrageous, isn't it? Over on YouTube, hello to Andrew Parker, who's with us. Has been swimming along the Thames to our opening video, haven't you? Dolly's scones, not worth it. They're very, very small. Small scones in Dolly's, I'm afraid. Enjoyed the karaoke last night. I'm glad you did. We always stream the karaoke from Central Station on Mondays and Fridays, okay? Paul says Late Breakfast Show was the show the guy dies on. Not House Party. Ah. Okay, so that's a different show, is it?
I would imagine so.
Late Breakfast Show, hang on. Was that on BBC One? Late Breakfast Show, Wikipedia. Noel Edmunds. That one was 82 to 86. Okay. 82 to 86. Here we go. The death of the chap's name was called Michael Lush. It goes on. There had been concern that the show's stunts were too dangerous. Indeed, the BBC was threatened twice with legal action by the health and safety executive to stop planned stunts, such as plucking a member of the public from an exploding chimney by a helicopter. Oh my God. The BBC themselves described the stunts as some of the most daring feats ever seen on British television. My God, this is ages ago. This is ages ago. On the 10th of September 1983, stunt driver Richard Smith fractured his pelvis and injured his head, neck and back after crashing 140 mile an hour during one such live stunt. An attempt to leap more than 230 feet in a car, I remember this. Also in 1983, Barbara Sleeman broke her shoulder after being fired from a cannon. She would later say the BBC don't give a damn, they just want the viewers. Now, death of Michael Lush. On the 13th of November 1986, self-employed hod carrier Michael Lush was killed during his first rehearsal for another live stunt. The stunt, called Hang 'em High, involved bungee jumping from an exploding box suspended from a 120-foot crane. I remember this. The clip attaching the bungee rope to the crane sprang loose from its eye bolt during the jump. He died instantly of multiple injuries, and the breakfast show was cancelled on the 15th of November after Edmunds resigned, saying he did not have the heart to carry on, which you can understand that. But yes, so it was the late breakfast show. So we're both wrong. Thank God we've got other people to correct us.
Yes.
Thank you, Paul. Hello, Andrew. Have you gone?
I'm not. I'm still here. But I think because obviously the Anton Deck Saturday Night Takeaway fiasco that's been going on,
yes.
That I think what's come about it, if you've been watching it the last couple of episodes that Deck did on his own.
Very good. He's very good. Very good.
He's very good. They did that Saturday Night Takeaway, didn't they?
The Saturday what?
They called it Saturday Night Takeaway with a K, but they called it Saturday Night.
I didn't notice that.
They did that like that kind of spoof documentary thing, like that, like a soap kind of thing.
Okay.
With the Honoured and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And then Noel Edmunds was, cut a long story short, Noel Edmunds was the head of the Dishonoured, which hadn't been, because on deck have got MBEs or OBEs or whatever they got, and Noel Edmunds hasn't. So, toward in the last episode, Noel Edmunds come down the stairs and he said, "You've ripped my show off." Like the gotchas is the things where they go out and give people things.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
They go to living rooms live around the country.
Yes.
Anton Deck did that. So did Noel Edmunds, and he did the Undercover, which they used to do.
Right.
So therefore, Noel Edmunds, because obviously they wrote it for him, said that they've ripped off Noel Edmunds for his for his show because of that.
Right.
Now, I personally think that Noel Edmunds has got a right to say that he should come back on national television, and I think he does have a right to bring back Noel's house party.
Right.
Anymore because it's been done before.
What has?
So, the element's just been brought back with Anton Deck. So why should he then pitch it? Because he's not going to BBC.
No.
He's not going to the BBC. He's pitching it to other networks, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, obviously other networks.
Well, it was very good on that Open the Box thing, wasn't he? I can't remember what that was now.
Deal or no deal.
Yeah, Deal or No Deal. That was very good. Epileptic Razor says, I dislike the solo Saturday night takeaway with Just Deck. Okay, fair enough. I thought he was very good at doing that himself, didn't you? Very good. Paul says, Mr. Blobby died a few times on the show. I don't remember that.
But, yeah, so, because obviously, because I was very, very young when Noel's house party first started.
Well, let's hope he brings it back on there. That's what I say, my darling.
But do you think it'll be the whole concept again? Or
I don't know, but I just hope it's a lot more interesting than this phone call.
Oh, right, okay.
You got all serious, love.
All right. Should we talk about some fun things?
Yes, I've got lots of stories to read out. Thank you very much.
Oh, right, okay. Is that my cue to leave now?
Yes, dear. Yes, go.
Oh, just to let you know, on the losing
on
rate,
and
I've
on,
lost
dear.
£6
We're losing hideous amounts of viewers here, dear, listening to your bloody boring phone call.
I've lost £6.
I've said so many. Anyone can call in, but for Christ's sake, be interesting. We're all falling asleep here.
Have you listened to everything I've said for the last?
Yes,
30
unfortunately.
seconds? What? I've lost £6 this week.
Have you what? And wait, and how have you done that?
Drinking water. I've been on the water diet for the last week.
Oh, that's no good. No. Don't muck about with those stupid diets. What you got to do is change what you eat and how you cook it. Cut out all the oil and all the butter, basically, and you should be all right. No pasties and no sweets or anything like that in between meals. Very, very bad.
Pasties or sweets.
What you had for breakfast?
I don't eat breakfast. I had
there's number one problem. You don't have breakfast. That is a big problem. How many times do these thick people tell me that they don't eat breakfast? Oh, can't understand why I lost weight. Your body needs that food in the morning. Now, do not go and fry something in the oil in the morning. You can have in the morning baked beans, mushroom, and do them in fry light, you see. Baked beans, mushrooms. You can have sausages, you can have bacon, all this in the morning. All allowed on the Slimming World, dear. I'm telling you now.
Well...
Someone wants to know, are you boring yourself to lose weight? Is that how it works?
No, dear, it's not. I obviously...
Where have you gone now? Are you speaking from a toilet?
No.
Well, you've obviously somewhere where you've got no furniture.
I'm in my living room.
What have you got in there? Is there any furniture? It's really echoey in there.
It's wooden floored.
Well, get yourself some carpet, darling, all right? In fact, I might send up this dirty throw for you to put on there.
Oh, please don't.
Have a lovely evening, Danny. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Carry on with the weight loss. You're doing very well. But do not eat. That is stupid.
I eat twice a day.
Well, it's not good enough. 3 times a day you need to eat. Bye-bye, love.
Take care, bye-bye.
Cheerio. Danny Davies calling in from Wales there. Oh, excuse me. Calling in from Wales there. Thank you. Tony says... Tony says it sounded like the Russian jury giving out the results at a Eurovision Song Contest. Don't take the mick out of the Russians. We don't want to be infiltrated here. I could go off here at any moment if we are hacked. I don't know how they would hack it unless they can't guess your passwords. You'd never guess my passwords. It's just a random string of letters and numbers. All my passwords are like that, random strings of letters and numbers. Oh, is there another way to get into stuff without actually having a password? I suppose there is, really, isn't there? I don't know. Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Oh, you are naughty. Gustav says, I love the Donald Trump calendar. It's not Donald Trump, dear. It's Barry Manilow. How many times do I have to tell you? It's Barry Manilow. Good. So that's Mrs. Tahid's thing. I've got a new gadget. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see my new gadget? What's that noise? Oh, it's 10 o'clock. It's time for my pills. My major life-saving pills. Here's my new gadget. Look, here it is. In its large Amazon box. Are you wondering what it is? Ready? Oh, it's so exciting. If you listen to my music and chat show on Monday, you'll probably know what this is. But here we go. Here we go, right. Here's my new gadget. You're going to love this. I'm going to give you a clue. Shall I give you a clue? Insects. Any idea? Insects. Here we go. Here we go. Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 da, ba, ba. Right, hang on. Insects. All right, check out the packaging. Check out all the packaging, Here we go. New gadget. This has been opened. I'm sure this has been opened. My electric bug zapper. Oh, yes. I'm so excited. I love things coming from Amazon doing the post, don't you? Here it is. Hang on. Let's have a look at this. We got any insects in here anywhere? Oh, yes. This looks the point, dear. Yes! What wasp is going to come near me now with this? Right, where's the batteries go? Do we get no batteries? God, how cheap is that? Oh, I don't know how to put the batteries in. How does this work? Oh, there we are. Oh, yes, I've got some of those. I always buy these batteries from Amazon. It's a lot cheaper if you buy a load of batteries off Amazon. Much cheaper. Right, let's have a go with this. What's the instructions say? Not dangerous 100% environmentally friendly. No dangerous chemicals, indoors and outdoors use. Warning, this is not a toy. Keep out of reach of children. Oh, I can't wait. Let's test this now. How does this work? Oh, you can hear it. Listen, listen. Now, do I touch it or not? Oh, hang on. Warning. There's a warning on there. One moment, please. There's a warning. Do not touch the netting while the power button is pressed or immediately after releasing the buttons. Keep out of reach of children. What is this like on dogs? Because there's a fat bloke lives right over there, and he's got these two security dogs. Blooming Alsatians they are. Now, I quite like dogs. I like dogs if they're trained properly. These two dogs, they go mad whenever they see me. They're horrible. Aggressive dog, growling and barking at me as they come round. I think I might be leaving the house with this in future. Come on, little doggy. I love it. Look at this. Do I touch it or not? That is the question. You're dying for me to touch this, aren't you? Perhaps I should take it on my tongue. Oh, I don't know. No, I'm not going to touch it. I can't wait for my first insect. Is there anything in here? Is there a spider? Spider, spider, where are you? No, there's nothing in here. Cool, where? You never find an insect when you want one. What about my plants? Have you seen, by the way, you see this here, right? See that orchid? It's just starting to fade now. My birthday, I was given that by Ray Reynolds. That was the 5th of February. 5th of February I was given that. 5th of March, 5th of April. So that's lasted 2.5 months. So when you go in and you see like an orchid plant for 12 quid, oh, that's a lot of money. You think, how long's a bunch of flowers last? Huh? About a week, week and a half if you're lucky. These last 2.5 months. They're well worth the money. Well, I can't wait to use that. Hopefully I'll get a bit of a video of doing that for you. So my wonderful electronic bug zapper. You can buy one yourself. How much do you think that was? How much? Any idea? 6 quid. 6 quid. No longer will I be worried about great big fat wasps entering through windows. I mean, insects are pretty stupid things, aren't they? You must admit. Paul says, is it what happened to the frog you zapped it? No, I would not zap a frog. Friendly little creatures. They don't do any harm at all, frogs, unless you're in Australia. They got cane toads over there, which aren't quite frogs, I know. Cane toads. And over there, they had a problem with possibly an insect or another animal or something, and cane toads got rid of them. So some idiot decided to let a load of cane frogs go over there, and that sorted out the problem. The trouble is, there's now millions and millions of cane toads over there, like destroying something or other, and it hasn't quite worked. No, I wouldn't do that to a little frog. Bug Zapper, is he related to Frank Zappa, the footballer? No, I don't think so. Poundland do them for £1. Can you get these for £1 in Poundland? Really? Listen, why does it make that noise? Can you hear this or not? And how comes, like... So these are about 1.5 volts. That's only 3 volts. How is it that I would get a bad jolt off that? Surely not. Is there some sort of gadget in there what makes it more volts or something? Oh, I'm not going to touch it. You want me to touch that. You want me to be hurt, don't you? No one cares, you see. No one cares about me. No one cares about me, whether I'm hurt or not. Thank you. Matt says, don't lick it. Why not? Good evening, Johnny Key. Evening, Johnny Key. Well, what was I saying about Ray Reynolds? I can't remember what I was saying about Ray Reynolds now. What was I just saying about Ray Reynolds? I can't remember. Good evening, Ray Reynolds. Oh, there he is. Hell, Chris. Evening, Ray. Ray's with us. Shania's there as well. I'm certainly not going to zap myself with that. But I can't wait to try that out, actually. I'm quite afraid of wasps. I think they're horrible things. In fact, tomorrow is going to be a fantastic day. You know that with the weather, don't you? You know that with the weather. Tomorrow is going to be 25 degrees centigrade, which is about 25, 50, 75, 85, 95, 105, -4, which is about 3 degrees centigrade. 3 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow. So 3 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees centigrade. That is the actual temperature tomorrow, which I've converted for you live on this programme. And what I might do is go out there with a glass of orange and a piece of bread with strawberry jam on it and my bat, and I'll just wait for those wasps to come near me. Yes! Goodbye, wasps! Not the bees. Not the bees. I don't think... I've never, ever... But bees do not attack you unless they feel threatened. I've gone right up and watched... we've got a place near here called Savile Gardens, which is... Oh, have we got dropped frames tonight? That's very unusual on here. Dropped frames. Oh, is the picture all right for you? Did it freeze at some point? It says I've got dropped frames there. That's unusual for it to happen in here. We've got a place up the road called Savile Gardens, which is near Windsor. And it's got all these beautiful flowers. Well, me and my mate went there last year. You might have seen it if you're a regular viewer. We often do videos when we go out on little trips and things like that. And these flowers, oh, so many beautiful flowers there, surrounded by thousands and thousands of bees. And you could go right up to them, and you could go up to a plant, and it'd be like 10 bees trying to get their bit of nectar out of it. Like that they are at the flower. And you can go right up and watch them working. They're not interested. Not interested in you in the slightest. You do not get attacked by bees. No need to ever kill a bee. Just help it outside. Sometimes you see them dying, don't you, on the pavement for some reason. It's very bad, the whole insects thing, isn't it? Often... I spoke a little while ago about this, but years ago, when I used to travel up and down the motorway, when you got to the other end, you'd have to clean your windscreen. It was covered in dead insects. Don't get that anymore. Not a single insect on the screen. Where have all the insects gone? You know, we can't do without insects. We really can't. But it was the case. I mean, I travel about half an hour on the motorway between here and London, and then a bit more in London. But on that motorway journey, my windscreen would be absolutely caked in dead insects by the time I got to the other end, certainly in the summer. Now, not one, not a single insect, which is a bit of a worry, really, isn't it? Hey, hello to Ross Pat's out. Says, when I first started it was flashing green, but it's okay now. So it might have been a little fault with the picture earlier on, so sorry about that, gang. Kevin says, do you have sugar there? You could sprinkle some on your zapper and see what happens. No, I've got no sugar here, actually, Kevin. I don't put sugar in anything at all. So there we are. Heidi, don't worry, darling. You have thanked me, darling. That's you haven't got to thank me for anything. You haven't got to thank me for anything, Heidi. I don't need thanks. You are kind enough to just be there, darling. All right? Andy says, are you still doing the Tuesday night karaoke? No, I haven't done that for, over a year now. I left the Golden Lion. Yeah, I just left after a while. You have to keep moving on. I'm still waiting to hear for 2 karaoke nights. I haven't heard from either of them yet, unfortunately. So there we are. Simon says, I hate it when you go to your car and look on your window screen and see bird poo on the window. Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? Bird poo. Bird poo's not nice. Lisa wants nice weather. On the East Coast, there's still 30 and 40 degrees. That's Fahrenheit, isn't it? I'm thinking that we'll never get spring. When do you get spring then? Well, I mean, we're halfway through April now, aren't we? Should happen soon, I hope, spring. Good. So I showed you that. Let me see what I've showed you. My Beth Pat showed you my spring. What else am I going to tell you? Right, we've got some news stories as well to show you this morning. Now, Danny mentioned this already when he phoned up a little bit later on, boys and girls. And this is in The Sun this morning. Now, I don't know if you watched This Morning. I haven't watched it for years. I've kind of put it on and I've seen, they do a lot of sex stuff on there all the time now. And I think they just do it, to shock you. They seem to sex stuff on This Morning. And I don't know about you, I don't want to see that at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. It's like the radio, on a Saturday night. I don't know why, but we have two. We haven't got many talk stations here in the UK. The big one is LBC, goes all over the country. There's Radio 5 Live. Radio 4, I mean, that is a talk. It's not like a talk, like I'm talking to you type thing. It's not like that. And we've now got talk radio. And both of them, on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock, do these sex phone-in things, which I just find incredibly boring. Are you like that? I want to listen to something interesting. I don't want to listen to politics all the time. And I'll be honest, I'm not even sure what I want to listen to. Whenever someone's talking technology or anything like that, I find that quite interesting. But sex stuff on the radio, and both these stations do it at the same time. 8 o'clock every Saturday night, you turn it on, and then someone's ringing up because they can't get it on or something like that. And here we go again. I'll have to turn it off. Turn it off. I don't want to listen to it. And This Morning seemed to do that quite a lot. They're all doing sex things or abuse or victims. They do victims as well, If something terrible's happened to you and they're talking about that first, and I don't want to hear it. Or cookery. That's another boring thing. I can't stand cookery on the telly. How many ways can you make a cake? They all do poncy food, don't they? Poncy food. Not stuff what you do in your kitchen. Oh, no. No. Show us how to make a scone and I might be interested. No, it'd be something covered in some clever sauce made out of, I don't know, dead frogs or something like that. It's boring. So I don't watch This Morning. But if you watch it now, you're being conned. And I'll tell you why. They've moved studios. Now, Ray Reynolds told me about this on the phone the other day. Ray's a very good friend of mine. And they've moved studios. They've moved from the old London Weekend Television Tower, which is on the South Bank. They've moved into White City, which is, I think it's a BBC studios. And they're doing it from there. And they're sitting in front of a window. Except it's not a window. Here we go. In The Sun today, This Morning bosses can change the weather daily in their new studio after recording their old view of the South Bank for a year before they moved. So what they've done is stuck the camera out the window and recorded the stuff to put on a screen so it looks like they're actually sitting. So it's all fake. All faked here. There's nothing fake in here. Nothing fake in here. Insiders have told The Sun Online how the clever ITV bigwigs thought of every eventuality and wanted to make sure they had every weather possibly on record. So they've been recording. It's not a live picture anymore. They've been recording these scenes outside so they can shove it on the thing behind. I mean, it's a popular programme. It's just not for me. Viewers were stunned at the start of the week as Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield presented live from the BBC's former studios in West London with their old view in the background. The pair joked about how the clever technology, and many fans admitted they could barely tell the difference. A source explained it was filmed throughout the seasons and looks really authentic. Everyone has been so positive about it. It's been brilliant. They got the sofa there as well. An official spokesman for This Morning added, "We love the views so much that we brought it with us." The swanky new studio was unveiled earlier this week and it has had an expensive makeover. A glass-topped coffee table is worth £399. Well, that's hardly an expensive... What, £399? You think that's expensive for a glass table, dear? That's not expensive. As you sort of get that sort of thing in John Lewis, dear. What do they class as expensive? Then they've got a £600 armchair. Again, that's about right. I've seen armchairs for £600, and a £550 dining table to greet their guests. Well, I've got a glass dining table downstairs. I've had it 20 years. Cost me about £300 then. It's hardly expensive, isn't it? Talk about don't push the boat out. Well, they gone to a jumble sale for this stuff or what? Speaking about the news show, Phil Schofield, and he's a fantastic presenter, said, "You shouldn't really be able to tell any difference. The new set at the former BBC studios in West London has been given a pricey makeover, my love. Don't do me, love. The telly legends have settled in nicely to their new home and the show has already started making waves." So there we are. One mum who appeared on today's episode called outrage after admitting she has a favourite child out of her 4 kids. Fans of the show blasted her as disgusting during her interviews, with thousands taking part in a vote saying that they thought her decision was wrong. Well, I suppose so, and I don't know. I mean, they put these ideas, this sort of thing, they put that to generate people joining in. You see, you know, there's things I could say now which would absolutely make you want to join in. There's things I could say now, but I prefer to just sit here and ramble. No one rambles anymore. Everything's just too serious all the time. You turn on that LBC now, I bet there'll be something really serious going on there. There's no more fun. Where's all the fun go? That's why I'm here, to bring back the fun. We need to bring back the fun. Paul wants to know, do I still use your electric tin opener? Yes, Paul. I do. I've got an electric tin opener that I've had for some weeks now, and it took me a bit of getting used to it. I just couldn't get the damn thing to work. I couldn't work out how to get the tin on, and what you have to do is put it on a slight angle, and then it kind of picks it up, and then it just sits there open, waiting for you to consume the contents, usually baked beans. It is my baked bean tin opener. That's what it is. Ray says, I went to see the Paul O'Grady show several times on the South Bank. Brilliant. Do you remember Stanley Baxter and the send up of the Tower in Inferno? Yes, I remember Stanley Baxter. Very, very fun. Very fun. Andy says, bring back Pebble Mill. Used to love that show. So did I, Andy. Do you remember the tune? Da 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 da. I saw, who was the lady presenter on Pebble Mill? Judith Spires? Judith Spires? I saw her on the telly the other night. I think she was being interviewed by someone. Oh, she's aged. But she's still Judith Spires. I think it's Judith Spires. She was great. And they had a bloke called Bob on there as well. Bobby was the main host, wasn't he? Was Eamon Holmes on there as well? That was a great programme. Pebble Mill at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on BBC One. Why don't they bring back something like that? The BBC were good at doing that. I never really took to This Morning. Richard and Judy, I don't know what they were about, dear. Have you seen pictures of her lately, Judy? Oh, talk about age, dear. Some people age very, very badly, lovey. Not that I'm saying she has. You look at the pictures and make up your own mind, lovey. Who am I to cast such aspersions on someone that I don't know? Not me. Wouldn't do it 1,000 years, lovey. Lisa loves Are You Being Served? Do you know what, Lisa? They're all gone now. They're all dead. Every single one of them are dead now. That was a great programme, wasn't it? Are You Being Served? Of course, they wouldn't allow that over here now, Lisa, in case it offends the gay people. But blooming pathetic. Listen, darling, I'm gay. I'm not offended. It's hilarious. One of the funniest things ever on the telly. Are You Being Served? Grace Brothers going up. Ba, da, 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 da. Are you free, Mr. Humphries? I'm free. I love it. I love Are You Being Served? Darren Litton, who writes Benidorm, actually wrote a remake of Are You Being Served, which you may or may not have seen last year, and it was damn good. It was really good, and I asked him if they were going to bring back a new series, like a remake series, and I'm afraid it's not going to happen. They're not going to bring it back, which is very sad. I thought it was excellent, that remake of Benidorm, didn't you? Wonderful, wonderful programme. Going up, da, 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 da. Not the remake of Benidorm, remake of Are You Being Served? Mr. Humphries and Mrs. Slocum. Oh, my pussy's so wet today. It must have been out in the rain all night. We love Are You Being Served? Absolutely love it. Heidi, what cakes? Kevin says, what cakes do you like? Oh, I like birthday cakes, sponge, not fruit cakes. Although I like scones. I like scones. I like sponge cake. And that reminds me, I've got to order my friend's cake, actually. Oh, we got a call coming in. Glenda. Hello, Glenda in Pennsylvania. 65000. How are you? Glenda.
Yes, hi.
There you are. I've got you. Hello, my darling. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well. We're firing on all cylinders tonight. Have you just joined us?
Well, no, I've been watching since you came on, but I'm not on Facebook anymore. I closed my account. I can only use Facebook for maybe 4 to 5 days at the most, and then I've got to get off of there. I can't stand it.
Go on. Why is
that? And I'm
that?
only in my mid-30s.
Why is that, Glenda?
So it's not like I'm old.
Why don't you want to be on there anymore?
I don't like everybody knowing my business.
Okay.
I'm a private person.
Yep, I understand
and I feel
that.
like there are a lot of people that try to nosy about you. Like, they're always in your business. And, I mean, I don't post many things on there anyway.
Right.
But still, I just feel like you could be friends with somebody on Facebook, but you'll pass them on the street or in the mall, and they won't even give you the time of day.
No, you're absolutely
so I
right.
just figure... No, I just don't have time for it, and it takes up too much of my time, and I just don't need the drama.
Did you find it very, very addictive to you, always picking up your phone to check?
Actually, no, because quite honestly, like this last time I opened it up just specifically to become friends with you.
All right, okay.
I hadn't had a Facebook page for probably about 2 years is the last time prior to that I had it opened, and prior to that, it had been probably maybe 2010, 2011.
Right.
So
wow.
I don't really use it
That's
at all.
sometimes. Do you use YouTube?
No, I don't have an account. I just go and watch videos.
Well, this as well as being on Facebook Live, it's on YouTube Live, YouTube as well.
Yeah, that's how I watch you.
Oh, so you do watch it on YouTube Live. I was going to say, if you don't want to be on Facebook, you can always pick it up on YouTube Live, or there's a thing called Periscope as well. It's on Periscope as well.
Yeah, but I don't have a specific account. Like, I can't post comments to you on YouTube, like talk to you that way. So I just changed my cell phone plan so that I can call over to Europe whenever I want, and it only costs me like $5 a month.
Oh, is that all? That's not bad, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. Last year, I changed over. We have a network called 3 here, the 3 network, and I get unlimited data, unlimited calls, and unlimited texts for about $44 a month. That's all
Do you want to
unlimited.
know how much I pay?
Go on.
It's about $200 a month for 2 cell phones. That's it.
Wow.
And I know you've talked before about how expensive your water is over there. Like, what did you say you have to pay like once a year?
I pay twice a year, and it's about $120, about $160 every 6 months. Is that expensive?
Okay. No, it's well. In pounds, I don't really know, but I can
No, that's
tell
in
you
dollars. That's in dollars.
Oh, okay. So I pay $60 a month.
$60 a month?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I'm paying about $160 every 6 months.
And then on top of that, like, you have your electric bill, my cable bill, and then your mortgage and everything else.
What's your? I pay. I got dual fuel, so for electricity and gas, per month, I pay £48, electricity and gas. Go on.
That's very cheap. I pay because I'm on a budget plan, so every year it changes depending on how much electric you've used the year prior.
Yeah, I understand.
But I'm on a budget plan, so I think like right now I'm supposed to pay $180 a month, but I usually send extra, so I pay like about $200.
Wow. So I pay about $65 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I've got here, I had them put up must be coming up on 10 years now. I've got solar panels. Do you have solar? Is that a very big thing over there, solar power?
Actually, it is, depending on where you live. Actually, my husband and I had someone come out the one time to talk to us about getting solar panels on our roof. But, yeah, some people do have them. And, I mean, we would really be interested in getting that done at some point if we choose to stay at our house. We may sell our house in a few years and move to the country.
Yeah, it's probably pointless doing that. Are you in the city at the moment, are you?
No. I live in Northumberland, which is a very small town in central Pennsylvania. I honestly don't know the size of our town, but it's the town that I grew up in, and it's a small town. And when I say the country, people from the city think where I live is the country. But I live in town.
I'm with you. Yeah.
So, but it's very country here. There's lots of mountains and woods, and there's tons of animals in my backyard, even though I live in town. There's little squirrels that I feed, and birds, and we have chipmunks. They actually are the chipmunks that I've had in the past that have came around to my house. They've actually been so tame that I was able to pick them up, and they would like feed from my hand the peanuts.
Wow, that sounds absolutely delightful where you live. It really sounds
it's very nice.
Yeah,
I like
sounds
it here.
Absolutely delightful where you live, I must say. Really, really nice.
You can look it up on Google Earth.
Yeah, go on. What's the name of the town again?
Pennsylvania.
What's the name of the town again?
Northumberland, like Northumberland, England.
Right, Northumberland. I am going to have a look at that. I'm going to have a look at where you live.
Yeah, it's a cute little town. Joseph Priestley.
Can you do
me a favor? I don't know if
favor?
you've ever heard of him.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's the town that he discovered. This is where he discovered oxygen.
Can you do me a favor? If you could, in about like 20 minutes' time, just wave out the window so when I'm looking at you for Google Map, I could see your little hand out the window somewhere. Then I know where you are. Well, I'm glad you're still enjoying the shows, Glenda.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question if I could.
Yeah.
Do you have, because I know you talk about TV shows, and I'm pretty sure that you have it over there, but you've never mentioned it, The Walking Dead. Do you guys watch that show?
Yes, The Walking Dead is quite popular. I think it's either on Sky or Netflix, one of the two. I haven't seen it.
Really?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You should watch it.
It's very popular. If it's on Sky, I don't have Sky. I've got Netflix.
It's probably on Netflix too now.
Oh, is it? Okay, I'll look that up then. Walking Dead.
And did you ever watch the Midsummer Mysteries show?
Angela Lansbury.
I think that's who it is. I don't know. I just watched
the first couple of episodes. Not sure who that is. I'll tell you what I've got into at the moment. The new Lost in Space. Your husband probably likes that, does he?
I think he's watched the movie before, but we don't have Netflix. I had it for a couple of months, and we didn't really watch it.
Oh, okay.
We have cable TV, so we watch a lot of cable TV.
They've remade.
But it's more expensive.
They've remade Lost in Space, and I've watched 3 of them so far. Very good. I don't do that binge watching. You know, when some people they sit down and watch an entire series.
That's what my husband's doing right now.
No, but I think you miss something when you're doing that. I think you miss the excitement of looking forward to tomorrow or the day after, you know. If you sit there and watch the whole lot, I think you're doing yourself an injustice there. Oh, have I lost you?
No.
Oh, no,
I'm
still
here.
got you there.
I would never hang up on you. I wouldn't be that rude.
I watched bits and pieces and Dynasty. Yeah, they bought that back.
I've never watched that.
Oh, my God, it's so bad, it's hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. It's so bad.
No, I've never watched that. I like the older shows though. Like I always used to with my parents, Are You Being Served?
Yeah.
With
yeah.
Mr. Humphreys. Oh, I loved him. He was my favorite character.
Yeah. I was just saying, they've all died now, you know. They've all gone. Every single one of them.
Aww.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
That was a really good show.
Did you ever watch Dad's Army?
Mm-mm. No.
No? Okay. Dad's Army was before Are You Being Served. There's a couple of them still alive. The Vicar is still alive. Actually, it might only be the Vicar and Ian Lavender are still alive, and most of those people have gone now. But we just thank them for such wonderful entertainment that they gave us over the years, eh?
Yeah.
And Benson died, didn't he? Remember Benson from Soap?
No.
You remember Soap? Da, 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 da. Oh, that was hilarious. Soap. We got that over here. Yeah, my God.
So when are you going to get yourself another cat?
No. Absolutely
Really?
not. No more pets. No more pets. No more pets. No, I miss.
I don't think I could live without an animal in my house. I'd be too lonely.
I do. I sit down there and I think about my my old cat Katie sometimes. And I thought, and you know, when someone or something dies, you always think about what more you could have done, don't you? You know what I mean? What more you could have done for them.
My cat had passed away right around this, like, shortly after your cat had passed away, and he was 15.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we pretty much did all that we could do. He had liver failure, so when we took him to the vet, there was nothing else that we could do.
Yeah.
I mean, he was literally yellow in color.
Wow.
So and we knew he was sick for a long time, and we knew that time was coming. You just don't want to realize it.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but I mean, we loved that cat. And then I said to my husband, I'm not going to get any more cats. We're just going to have the two that we have. And then he wanted to get another cat. So we have something called the SPCA.
Right.
And they, like, people who have unwanted kittens, cats, dogs, puppies, they can take them to the SPCA, and the SPCA adopts them out. So we went there, and I found another cat that looks a lot like the one that we had to put down. And she's absolutely so funny. She's the best cat we've ever had. She's like a dog. If I go downstairs, she goes downstairs. If I come upstairs, she comes upstairs.
Well,
she's always around us.
They've all got their own wonderful personalities, haven't they, these cats?
Yeah.
Oh.
We have 3.
Yeah.
And my orange cat, which you would call a ginger.
Ginger, yeah.
She's really, really fat. And she just, every night she wants me to come up. Well, she wants to come up in the bed with me, and she lays next to me, and she purrs and purrs and purrs, and I fall asleep to her purrs. She's so sweet.
Oh, mine used to do.
But she doesn't.
Yeah, mine used to do that. For a period of time, I let her because I have a problem with animal fur and breathing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So for some years she's been restricted into the kitchen, which is warm, and she has a bed and all that. She just can't. I don't let her further into the house at the time. But there was a period where she would sleep with me, and she would sleep so close. Because she would get up on the bed and sleep so close to my face that I could feel her breath on my bottom lip. And she would purr. And you know, it seems to get louder and louder, doesn't it? As you're laying there, and you would just drift off. And I used to be coming home from work, DJing somewhere. I'd be at work, and I'd think to myself, oh, I'm looking forward to going to sleep with my cat later. Honestly, that's what I felt. Yeah. Oh, I miss her.
I'll be so sad when she dies because she's 16 now.
Yeah.
And I mean, every night I'm so used to her like laying with me, and she lays in her little bed next to me while I work because I work from home.
Yes.
So all my animals are in my office with me while I'm working, which is really nice because they are the best co-workers you could ever have, your animals.
And they all want a little bit of attention, do they?
No, actually, my 2 little dogs, they leave me. I mean, everybody leaves me alone mostly during the day, except for our ferrets. But hey, I have to go because my mom's actually here. She's picking me up, or we have to go away. So
say hello to Mum then. What's her name?
Her name's Rose.
Hello, Rose. Have a nice time.
All right, she'll watch the video.
All right. See you, Glenda. Bye-bye, my love.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Glenda in Pennsylvania there. That's nice talking to someone. She called him once before, I think. Let's have a look there. I'm going to have to go now because I'm getting a bit late for my pills. I usually have pills at 10 o'clock. Unless you want me to go downstairs and have them and come back, do you? Shall I do that? I haven't really finished, have we? We haven't really finished chatting what we're chatting about. Ray says Judy Spires' interview with Larry Grayson is on YouTube. Yeah, Judith Spires. She was very good. Judith Spires, I quite liked her. Andy Baker, Judy and Vanessa Feltz, two presenters I can't stand. Actually, do you know, Andy, I don't mind Vanessa Feltz, actually. I don't actually mind her. I think she's all right. She's very, she says what she thinks. I quite like that with people, you know, when they say what they think. I think a lot of politicians don't do that. They don't actually say what they think. They say what they think you want to hear. Do you know what I mean? Ross went to Television Centre to watch a TV show being filmed. Yeah, it was very exciting. I saw several shows being filmed there. All the cameras and everything moving around. Very exciting to go into that building. Also went to the ITV studios on the South Bank to see Light Lunch with Mel and Sue. And the Riverside studios to see CD UK. Was that a kids thing, wasn't it? CD UK? Saturday mornings? Am I right with that one? And Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at Elstree? Yeah, it's great doing TV studios. I went to see Call My Bluff, and that, they record 6 of them, or they used to. They would record 6 of them, okay? In the space of whatever time you got there. And my God, by the 3rd one, you'd had enough. I'm sure it was either 4 or 6. And of course, in between each one, they all go off and change jackets and shirts and things like that. By the 3rd one, you really had enough. Oh, dear. Alan Titchmarsh was on Pebble Mill as well. Thank you. Yes, of course. Doing the gardens and all that. John's with us tonight. Hello, John Child. Welcome to the show, John. Let's have a look. Is Ronnie there? Oh, there's Ronnie. Look, Ronnie's appeared. Are you still taking the breath? No, we're not taking a breath, dear. I haven't finished the show yet. I really need to go and take... Let me go and get my pills. Hang on a minute. I'll go and get... But do you want to tune while I'm doing this? What can I play while I'm doing this? Oh, nothing really, can I? No, hang on a minute. It won't take me a second. What's that on there? Oh, yeah, here we go. Hang on a minute. Let's just shove this up so you've got something... So you know nothing's stopped working. No, I can't do that. No, you're just... I've only got Happy Birthday lined up there. Donald Trump, fake news. What's that? No, give me a second. I won't be a minute. Won't be a minute. Oh, dear. Just hurt my leg. That's better. Sorry, gang. I have to do this. Right. Done. Very important. If you're on pills for the doctor for anything at all, take them on time exactly as instructed, and then they work. A lot of people, I've been on these pills, they don't seem to be doing anything. And then on further investigations, you find out that they don't take them on time, or they miss them altogether. Oh, why don't they work? Because you haven't bloody well taken them on time, that's why. Hello to Ashley, who's not well at the moment. He's got a viral infection worse than the flu, have you, Ashley? Oh, dear. Well, I hope you're all right, my love. Nasty having viral infections. How long have you been out with that? Have you got night sweats as well? Tell us your symptoms. Dr. Chris will be here to help you, Ashley. Dr. Chris is in the house to assist your every need. So it's not flu, they reckon. Let's have a look. Heidi High was another excellent programme on the telly, Andy says. Yes, I've met Sue Pollard. She's one of my very close friends. Sue Pollard, mad as a hatter. Such a nice lady. Such a nice lady, Sue Pollard. Get a kangaroo instead. When they grow up, they're good for travel. You can jump into pouch to the pub, says Angela. Hello, Angela. She's in Melbourne, Australia. Housewife superstar Angela. Kangaroos. I was in a place in Canberra. It was a religious place. My aunt and my uncle had helped build this religious place. I might have... Here, look at that. Oh, fancy that. I got the leaflet here. Years ago I went here. Shrine of Our Lady of Mercy. Now, where is this? Let me tell you where it is. It's at Penrose. It's called Penrose Park, near Berrima, New South Wales. Okay, and it's a very religious place and all Catholic and all that business. Anyway, we was there. And there's this little area where there's all these little shrines that people from all different countries have had built. And it says the name of the country, France, from the UK. All these tiny little shrines, and people go there from their various countries, make donations, put flowers, say prayers, the sort of thing. Okay? And there, the kangaroos are roaming around there. And this blooming great kangaroo just was standing there watching us. And my uncle, he said, there you go, Chris, let's go and see the kangaroo. And he's walking over to this kangaroo, which is just standing there. And my aunt says, no, you better stop, John. He's challenging you. And John turned around and he said, what do you mean well, look at him. He's challenging you. Just walk away and he won't bother us. So I don't know. Do kangaroos attack people at all, Angela? Is it best to keep away from them? I mean, presumably you'd get a blooming good kick from a kangaroo, wouldn't you? Huh? Anyway, I've had my pills now, so we can chat for at least another 5 hours. And I'm happy to sit here for another 5 hours, especially for my best mate, Ronnie, who loves watching these programmes at all times, that he was. Did you just knock on the desk? I had tapping about 6 times just now. What, like this? Like that? Are you getting tapping? Is anyone hearing tapping? There's no tapping here. Sue Pollard's been so funny in Last Laugh in Las Vegas. Yes, is that on tonight? Last Laugh in Las Vegas? Because that was an excellent show. Absolutely excellent. I've seen the first 2. I'm waiting for the third one. Really good, that is. Got some wonderful people in there. John's got the virus that's going around 4 days, hot, cold sweats, heart palpitations so bad. Oh, I hope you don't. Do you not have the flu injection, John? You're old enough to have one of those. Right, Dr. Chris is here. Let me put my doctor glasses on. Hot and cold sweats, shivers, nasty coughs, streaming nose, always feeling non-energetic, got no energy at all, and keeps sleeping a lot. Oh, that don't sound good, does it, mate? Oh, you better look after yourself there. No work for you from a while. I reckon that's going to knock you out for 2 weeks, unfortunately. Last time I had that was a few years ago. It was awful. Did it come on suddenly? When I had it, it came on suddenly. About a year and a half ago it was. I was at work and it was perfectly all right. And suddenly at 11 o'clock, my legs began to badly ache. Really badly. 10 minutes later, I was freezing cold and I got really ill in the space of like 10 minutes. Awful. Hey, Angela thinks you've got menopause. I hope not. Political place Canberra, full of roundabouts, European vacation, can't get off the roundabout. It's true. I walked across that roundabout, Angela. I know the roundabout you mean, the big roundabout at the top. And then you go down one way to the lake. And I thought I could run around the lake, didn't I? I didn't realise how big it was. An hour later, I'm still running. And of course, if you run one way for an hour, you've got another hour to run back again. I lost a lot of weight on that. Maybe I should take up the running again. Awful. The Las Vegas program was on when you started. Just so, I'll be able to watch that later. I'll have a cup of tea and a Slimmer's World chocolate biscuit before I go to bed. Here we are. Ray was watching Vegas tonight when Johnny rang to say you were on. I'll watch that later then. That is a really excellent show, Last Laugh in Vegas. And so warm, don't you think? Such a warm programme as well. Where have we got now? Terrible news in the mail. I've probably been on the telly as well. I haven't seen it yet. But one person has died and an engine exploded on one of the Southwest Airlines flight on Tuesday. Don't tell my nephew that. Oh my God, he's a bit funny with the flying. He thinks the plane's gonna be blown up by a missile or something like that. He does worry that a plane's gonna get blown up. But in the mail today, yes, an engine exploded on Southwest Airlines, sending a piece of shrapnel flying back into a window, which caused the woman sitting next to it to be literally sucked out of the plane. Oh my God! You see, it's the air pressure. They take the air pressure, I think, down inside a plane. No, that's wrong. So the air pressure is up in a plane because it's down outside. So it's a bit like having a vacuum. If the window goes, you just get simply sucked out. I wish I had a vacuum cleaner as good as that. Awful. National Transport Safety Bureau chairman confirmed on Tuesday morning that one person died on the flight. It's not known if the victim is the same woman who was nearly drawn out of the window when it smashed at 11... Oh, nearly drawn out. Okay, so she didn't go out. She wasn't completely sucked out. When it smashed at 11:15 a.m. and who had to be pulled back into a seat by other passengers. Oh, or maybe she was a bit overweight. You see, there is an argument for being a bit overweight, i.e. you won't fit through a plane window when it goes out. Not good, though. She was taken to hospital immediately after the flight from New York to Dallas made an emergency landing at Philadelphia Airport. Someone suffered a heart attack, or probably frightened to death, I suppose, and died. But that's, does make me laugh. People who haven't been on planes before, and they're trying to open... How'd you open this window? You can't open the window, you get sucked out, dear. And that's the end of you, mate. That's the end of you. Look, there's Ashley's telling us about his illness. Well, nothing else you can do, really, Ashley, but put up with it, mate. I know you'll probably be having trouble sleeping as well. I bet you'll be up and down all night. Oh, can't sleep, tossing and turning, on and off with the television. It'll go eventually. You just got to put up with it, mate. Awful. Sorry to hear that you're not well. Okay, Andrew says it reminds me of that film, The Twilight Zone, when his head hit out the window after shooting the alien on the engine. An 80s film. Twilight Zone, did I see that? I remember seeing the series. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. It goes, doesn't it? That was a good series, that. Black and white. Did they remake it? Colour on one of the Netflix or something like that? I think it might have been. Paul says, I always watch Columbo when it comes on the TV. Quality. Yeah, that old tan-coloured raincoat that he's got, isn't it? I checked the other day, there were 94 episodes of Columbo. I was surprised. I remember Starsky and Hutch, I think, was my favourites. Starsky and Hutch, Ironside. I was thinking about old television today while I was on my bicycle, cycling to Wokingham. And one of the most haunting TV themes, I think, that ever will be in my head was the theme music to Colditz, which was on in the 1970s. And it was about British prisoners of war who were in prison in Colditz and how they escaped. And the theme music to that, da-da, da 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 da, that one. Oh, it was scary. That was. It was a scary tune, but that's always in my mind, and it just reminds me of sitting there watching the television with my mum and dad on a Saturday night. Awful. Mark says she got her fat ass stuck in the window. That'd be it. I hope it wasn't her that died. I hope no one died. Well, someone did die, but they said that was from a heart attack on that plane, didn't they? Angela says, what's the difference between a menopausal woman and a terrorist? Go on, tell us, Angela, because we don't have to be politically correct on here. We're not worried about who we upset. Because actually, we don't want to upset anyone. It's usually people who decide to become upset. Last thing I'd ever want to do is upset anyone. That is the absolute truth. But I think this whole political correctness thing is just a load of old twaddle. It really is. Here we go. So what's the difference between a menopausal woman and a terrorist? This is a lady saying this joke, and she says you can negotiate with a terrorist. You can't negotiate with my sister. Oh, no. Once she's made up her mind, that's it. Even if she's wrong. Which, of course, if she's having an argument with me, she will be wrong, my sister. That is an actual fact. When I'm having a row with my sister, it is me who's right, always. And she is wrong. But I go along with it. Yeah, okay, Shao. Whatever. No, but don't you think that, Chris? Don't you think that? Yeah, okay, if you say so. Yeah, but do you actually believe that? Yeah, if you say so, that's fine, sis. I walk off. Can't be doing rows with my lovely sister. No. Good evening, Jamie Clark. Welcome to the show, Jamie. Bit late, but never mind. I've only been here nearly 2 hours tonight. Have I managed to chat for 2 hours? I don't know. Do we want to take another phone call or not? What do you reckon? Go on then, Heidi. Call in if you want to, darling. Be interesting, Heidi, or I'll cut you off. Oh, God, my chair's gone down. Hang on. I thought I had something else to show you here. If you've just joined us, you won't have seen my new bug zapping bat. Look at that. Waiting for the first wasp to come in here. I can't wait to dispatch that with my death bat into heaven. Do you think heaven is full of insects? We like to think that sort of, our beloved pets are up there with us. Our cats and our dogs and our goldfish and budgerigars and things like that. But do insects end up in heaven as well? And if so, do they remember that you stepped on them? Good evening, Heidi.
Hello, love. You all right?
All right, Heidi. How are you, darling?
I'm good.
Oh, we've
How
just
are
got another joke here from Joseph. Hello, Joseph. I think you're in the USA, Joseph. Am I right? He says, "What's the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean?" I don't know what is a garbanzo bean. Do you know, Heidi?
It's got to be something. I think it belongs to this chickpea family. But no, go on.
What did you say?
You cook with it. A garbanzo bean. I think you
Right.
cook them. So I think they belong to some sort of.
Oh, well, I'm sure he'll come back with the answer in a moment. Hello to Paul Schrofer, I think it is. Welcome to you, Pual. Nice to see you, sir. And Joseph hasn't answered that. Matt says there are some benefits about having a larger middle than half your height. Is there benefits to? Oh yes, well it would do, Matt. The fact that if you try and get sucked out of a plane window, you get stuck halfway. Hopefully your head will be stuck in the plane, because if your head is sucked out first, Heidi, presumably you would suffocate.
Oh yes.
Huh?
This is true.
Oh no, Joseph's got an answer. You ready? I've never had a garbanzo bean on my face. You're very naughty, Joseph. Heidi doesn't get it. I do. It's all right. Anyway, Heidi, what are you calling in for, darling?
I just got that. That is disgusting.
Yes, I think so as well.
That is absolutely gross.
Get on with it, dear.
I forgot what I was going to say now, dear. Oh, yes. Thank you very much for... Because I had an appointment today. So I just thought I'd listen into your
right
other programme. And I've got to say, it's very strange, dear.
What other programme?
On your Reach thing.
On my what?
Your Reach, you know that...
Oh, my music and chat show. Did you enjoy that, did you?
It was very strange.
Strange in what way? Strange and mysterious.
Yeah, because I'm so used to you just talking. I'm not used to you having music as well, am I?
Oh, well, that's the music and chat show, that is.
It was nice, but...
It's like a radio show, you see? Like a radio show.
Yes, but I've got to tell you off now.
Oh, yes, go on.
As I was sat there, having a cup of tea, I was just listening along. In your classical section...
Stop it, Mark. Yep.
My favourite classical music came on, and then you pressed the wrong button.
Oh, I did press the wrong button. Yeah, it stopped and went on to the next track, didn't it? Very, very annoying. But don't worry, I'm going to play the same bit of music in the next show, which won't be next Monday because I'm away. So it'll be the Monday after. I will be playing exactly that same piece of classical music to make up for it, Heidi.
Well, I should try and tune in, but I thought I'd give it a listen. Do you know what I mean? See what it's like. And it was all right. But anyway, I've met Sue Pollard.
Have you really? Where was that?
I met her in trade.
Oh, yes, I know. She went to trade a couple of times. Didn't Madonna try to go once? And trade, let me just tell you, boys and girls, is a club that I used to go to, along with lots of other people. We are actually going back about 20 years now, mind. And we had a few stars going there. I think Madonna tried to come once, but they didn't let her in for some reason.
No, Lawrence wouldn't let her in. Because
Why was that?
Because she demanded too much. she wanted, the upstairs bit?
Yeah.
You know where it used to be upstairs? She wanted all that to herself.
Right.
She wanted all flowers and shit and all that more. It was too much.
Oh, really?
Too much.
I don't know why. I just knew she had tried to come once and was turned away, and I didn't know why.
Yeah,
we had,
let her in.
But we had Sue Pollard. Who else went in there? Who else was it now? I can't remember who else it was.
Andy Bell from Erasure has been there.
Yeah.
I met him.
Who?
Andy Bell from Erasure.
Andy Bell, yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I met him. I know him. Jimmy Somerville has been.
Right.
I met him and his boyfriend, Gordon, at the time.
Yeah.
Mark Harmon used to go.
Mark Harmon, yeah. I saw him there, yeah. It was a good place, though, weren't it, Heidi? Well, it was a good place to go to.
It was fab.
All right, my darling.
Saturday morning, and you won't come out again till Sunday night.
That's right, yes. As I've mentioned many times, I've told them about that place. Dreadful place of sin and corruption, love. I went every week. 3 times a week, I think I went to that club. Turn meals, 3 times a week. I went gallery a couple of times, which was the straight night, and the 2 gay nights, Saturday and Sunday. I went to both of those. It's 20 years ago now. I don't know.
Did you go to Warriors?
20 years ago it was, weren't it?
Did you go to Warriors?
Eh?
Warriors.
Do what? Warriors. I went to Warriors as well. Yes, Warriors FF.
Yeah, I went to Warriors as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I went to Warriors, Trade.
Good. There's another joke here from Angela. What's the difference between a pig and a man? Oh, do let us know, Angela. I can't wait for this. A sandwich.
Oh, go on.
Oh no, she hasn't. I thought she'd answered that now. No, we'll wait for that. We'll wait for that reply at some point. Good evening, Adrian. Welcome to the show, Adrian Richardson. It's a long one tonight. John says he used to like the Paradise Club in Angel, which is somewhere that I never went there. Paradise Club.
It's quite nice. It's all
yeah,
right.
It was, weren't it?
Once.
Good. Thanks for calling in, Heidi. Lovely to talk to you as always.
Well, I want to know what the difference is between a pig and a man.
Well, I'm sure she'll tell us in a moment. All right?
All right, then.
Cheerio, darling.
Bye.
Bye. Heidi calling in from London there. Mark wants to know what happened to DAY in London. Don't know. Mark went to... They bought Heaven. So GAY is at Heaven now. So it's GAY at Heaven. I think they kept the Heaven name. I had a feeling they might get rid of the Heaven name, but perhaps not. So that's the way it is there. A pig doesn't turn into a man after 2 beers. Nice one, Angela. Oh, I know. You know. I do this whole church thing, don't you? I spotted. I was driving past a church today. Was I driving or cycling? Hang on a minute. What was I doing? No, I was in the car. Why was I in the car today? Oh, I went to get my mate's birthday present. I've got his birthday present now. Is he watching? He don't usually watch. Angela, okay. There's a phone number up there, Angela, but it's going to cost you a lot of money in Australia. Have you got Skype? If you've got Skype, that's up there as well. United Kingdom talks on the Skype. No, I'm not going to tell you. I better not tell you what I got him for his birthday in case he's watching. He might be secretly watching because it's his birthday on the 30th. So what's the date today? 17. So it's in about 2 weeks' time, his birthday, which is just after I come back off holiday, actually. So I've got his birthday present day. Anyway, I'm driving past this church. And I'm like, oh, it's a Roman Catholic church there. It was a Church of the Holy Ghost in Crowthorne. And I thought, I'll just quickly look that up on the internet and looking at the pictures inside. It's a nice church. And then I come across the newsletter. You can't call in via a Facebook thing, I'm afraid. You can't call in via Facebook, I'm afraid, Angela. That's not possible to do that. You can only do it on Skype or telephone. If you use a phone, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, Angela, I'm afraid, darling. All right, sorry about that. And I picked up the newsletter. on the internet. I'm just reading about it. The different services. They do one at 11 o'clock and one at 9 o'clock. And then there's a little section that says we are at the moment in desperate need of an organist. Well, I used to play the organ at St. Joseph's Church in Roehampton. I cannot read music very well. I listen and I play. Now, it's a long time ago, so I know really the traditional hymns. Okay? They're the hymns I know, the traditional hymns. So they're the only ones I can do. The new ones, I'm not so clever at. I don't really know them that well. However, after listening to one or two of them, I could probably do that. So I'm kind of tempted to go and offer my services there, really. You don't charge for it. You just do it because you want to do it, you know. And if they've got, I wonder what sort of organ they've got there. I do like a loud one, you know. So I'm tempted to actually go down there this Sunday and have a little look around first, because you don't want to go down, I'm not quite sure about this, you know, all that business. So I might do that. As I say, I used to do it years ago at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Roehampton. I did it when I was in my early 20s. And then I went back there a few years ago. But I found the journey a bit much going back and forward to Roehampton. Here, it's like 10 minutes down the road. So that may be something new I might do there. All right. John, do I know of any good saunas? Went to Rio in Kentish Town. A very strange place. I don't know anything about saunas, John. Perhaps you should try Chariots in Vauxhall. That's a nice place. Lots of very friendly people in there. Especially if you're of the right age, all right? Another story here. Look at this. There's a river of curry in the Daily Mirror tonight. Yorkshire's River Aire. Now, that's where I'm going next week, Yorkshire. Haven Holidays near I think it's Whitby. Hang on. Whitby, was it? Haven Holidays, Whitby? Hang on. Yeah, that's it. Is it? What's it? Near Whitby. Oh, hang on. Is it Whitby? Oh, there's two of them. Oh, my God, there's two of them. Oh, dear. Haven. No, that don't look right. Haven Parks, Yorkshire. Whitby. There it is, Whitby. Is it Whitby? 1 minute. Select Park. Blue Dolphin. There's four of them. Thornwick Bay. Oh, I've been there already. Oh, I've been there once. You're at Thornwick Bay? It's got to be Thornwick Bay. Oh, I've been there. It's nice there. Oh, it's lovely, Yorkshire. Have you been? Beautiful place. Country and seaside. Oh, what a lovely place. Anyway, here in the Daily Mirror today, Yorkshire's River Aire, which flows along the centre of Bradford, has been stained yellow after being contaminated by filthy washing up water. And the headline is River of Curry. Britain's 6-time curry capital is in a bit of a pickle after its rivers were stained bright yellow in a plumbing mishap. It's all gone wrong there, dear. All gone wrong. The popular Indian dish has been flowing straight into the underground river through Bradford in West Yorkshire. Yeah, that's all right, isn't it? The people of Bradford don't even have to cook it themselves now. They can just get a pan and go down into the river and scoop a bit more out. Take it straight down their gullet. Hopefully not dropping it onto their throws. I'm sure I've got a worse stain on there. I'll have a good look at it later so that I can show the washing lady tomorrow, the Mrs. Tahid at the dry cleaners, that she ain't washed it properly, dear. One of the major the system means age-old buildings often dump their waste into its subterranean becks. What on earth is a subterranean beck? Anyway, it turns out that thanks to the city's ancient plumbing system, curry houses had no idea that their washing up water was finding its way into the river. Each time they were cleaning their dishes on the Bradford Beck, a river which feeds into the River Aire, was being flooded with leftover curry. Bradford had scooped the curry capital of Britain 6 times, but its success as a gastronomic hotspot has sparked pollution problems. Now, I do like a curry. I do like to do my own cooking quite a lot. But unfortunately, I wasn't so successful with the curry, and it stank badly. I mean, you know, anything that's got spices in it. I do a lot of chili stuff. I like doing chili stuff. But and that indeed, you know, it fills the house with smells. Although it's not too bad, the chili. I've made curry now. It's either twice or three times, and on every single occasion, it just hasn't smelt like curry should smell. Curry's got a very distinctive smell. Now, I work at a place called Central Station. I do the karaoke there on Mondays and Fridays, which is in King's Cross in central London. And not quite central, more north central London sort of thing. And I've had a couple of curries there, vegetable curries, and they smell absolutely delicious. Well, my curry didn't smell like that. You know, we've got a curry place near a hairdresser's that I used to go to. I know the lady in there. There's a laundrette there, and it's got this curry. And, it's nice outside. Whoever owns it does it lovely. The beautiful plants outside. So I've never actually been in there. I must go in there actually. It's beautiful outside, and sometimes you can smell the smell coming out of there, and it's a nice smell. You know, obviously I don't know what I'm doing with the curry, and it just absolutely and it stank the house out. Oh, it was awful, awful. And I do it in the slow cooker. And it's all very well, you know, filling your house with smells of food. And it's nice when it's dinner time. It's not so nice when you wake up at 4 a.m. to go for a wee. You open your door and the smell of curry hits you at 4 o'clock in the morning when you're trying to sleep. It's not pleasant. Not pleasant at all. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. My niece, actually, she said to me next time I'm up there, she'll do a curry and I can watch her doing it. Hopefully that'll be all right, won't it? Andrew over on the YouTube there said there's 2 Whitbys, great for people with a split personality who want to go on holiday without bumbling into themselves. Really? Paul says, why don't you just carry on until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning? You won't have to do a morning show then. I couldn't sit here talking for 10 hours. I'm sure I couldn't. And for the first time ever, I've almost run out of news stories on here. But I've got loads here I can talk about, you know. I can't lie to you, though. I'm rapidly now becoming in desperate need for a cup of tea. I'm going to save some of this stuff for tomorrow, actually. Where is it? Where's the TV shows that I've been watching? There's a bit of paper missing. Oh, there it is. Is that it there? No, where's the other bit of paper missing here? I keep getting this stuff from pension people. I keep chugging it. I should read it, really. I've got a private pension which has started now. I haven't actually taken any money from it. Well, I have. I took 25% of it, and I spent that. I have mortgages, you see. As well as doing this, when my mum and dad died, I put my money into property. So I've got some mortgages that need to be paid off, and I'm one of these people who can't stand a debt. So I'm always paying extra bits off. As I get money, I pay a bit more off. I mean, this can go on for years. It's been going on for years. So with that 25%, I paid down some of the mortgages, and it's gone. So that's gone now. But I've also got a British Telecom private pension thing. But it's not supposed to start till 65. But the private pension bloke from I can't remember. It's a big company anyway. It's not like a cold caller. I went to my financial bloke and I said, look, I've got this money. What do I do? And he sent me to them. They sent us back. He said, well, don't take an annuity because it's crap money, absolutely crap money. We reinvest it. Do you need the money? No. I said, well, it can go in this drawdown thing. So if I wanted like a couple of £1,000, I could just ring them up. Hello, can you send me £2,000? And it would just come. That's the sort of pension I've got now. But it remains invested. So it can still grow. There's always the chance that it can go down again, but it can still grow. So that's that one. But he said that I should talk to the British Telecom pension people and see if I can get that money early, which they will take and reinvest. So I don't know what to do. It's very, very complicated, pensions and all that in it, really. Where's my other bit of paper gone then? Is that it there? I don't know where that's gone now. What's that there? No, that's not it. It was a list of all programs. Oh, there it is. No, I'll save that for tomorrow morning now, I think. That's a thing too. I'll keep that with me for tomorrow morning. Angela, 1.1 million what, darling? Is that what you got in the pension? 1.1 million Australian dollars? What's that? That's not worth much. It's worth about 30 pence, isn't it? It always amazed me, the money in Italian lira. Italian lira. And if you went to Italy and you like changed up, I don't know, £100 in Italian money, you'd get like 10 million lira. It was practically worth nothing at all. I think Thailand is baht. I know Australian dollars. You got an earlier message there. Buy a property in Australia. A block of land in my street is selling for $1.1 million. I ain't got a million. I ain't got a million to spare, Angela. How rich do you think I am, dear? I'm not a millionaire. I've got a bit. Oh, we can't be selling houses, dear. Got to hold on to them all. Hold on to it all. This is the trouble, you see. I don't have an expensive lifestyle. I have no interest in having loads of money and loads of shiny things around me. I've no interest. There's nothing I can... You know how you sit there and you go, oh, I'd love that, I'd love that, I'd love that. There's nothing that I desire. Nothing, really. I've mentioned a couple of times, I'd like my own caravan. My own static caravan near my sister. So I could go and visit her whenever. But it's just not financially worth it. It really isn't. See, I can go up there and hire a caravan for a week for about 250 quid, which I do about 4 times a year. I spend about say £1,000. Say I spend £1,000 a year on hiring caravans, right? Okay? If you wanted your own caravan, you'd have to spend a minimum of £25,000 buying a caravan. And then once you got that, it's going to cost you anything between £3,000 and £7,000 a year in ground rent. So you see, it just isn't worth it. That's probably the only thing that I've thought about, really. Cars, well, I've got a nice car, Toyota. It's a large car, gets me from A to B. It's only a year old. Why would I want something else? I quite like the look of the Audi A7 and the Toyota Land Cruiser. But I'm not someone that wants, I want that, so I will have it. I need to justify everything that I buy. Are you a bit like that? I like to justify everything that I buy. For example, these jackets. I don't go out, oh, that looks a nice jacket. What might happen is that I go out and say, oh, that looks a nice jacket. That would look nice if I wore it for my show. Or I wore it on the stage doing karaoke or quiz night. You see? Always going from my head, I like that. Why would I buy that? This microphone. Okay, 10 years old, this. Cost about 150 quid. But it's 10 years old. Quality. And I use it to doing this. I don't go, oh, that's nice and shiny. I must have that. There's so many people around like that. And you just end up buying stuff that you don't need. You just don't need all this stuff. They're throwing it to you on the internet and on the telly all the time. Buy this, buy this, buy this. And you buy it and for like 5 minutes, you have been satisfied. Then it's on to the next thing. What do you want next? Oh, that's really nice. I must buy that. Oh, that's really nice. Then you get it and for 5 minutes you're happy again. I've got to tell you, when I go and change my car now, it's rare that I'm excited about it. I have to tell you, the car that I've got now is probably my most favourite of all the cars that I've had. Although I did have Land Rovers as well. I liked Land Rovers, Defender Land Rovers. They're the square army types. Although they weren't quite army, they were like from a showroom, and so they were quite new and shiny. They weren't like green and well used, like my face. There's nothing I desire. I don't know. How far bound? There we are. Lisa, I will be debt-free at the end of next month. Oh, that's fantastic, Lisa. Isn't it great to be debt-free? That's what I aspire to be, and I think that to me is like a challenge. I'd like to have no debts. It would take a few years to do that. On the other hand, if I sold one place, I could probably pay everything else off, but I don't like to sell, don't like to let anything go. And that's bad as well, really, isn't it? The fact that you don't want to let things go. I think I've probably stayed with partners longer than I should have as well. Don't like to let anything go over the years, you know. You know, you're not really supposed to be with that person. Or just hang on for a bit longer. It might get better or something like that. And clearing out house sometimes. I'm sure there's a lot of rubbish in it that I could take down the dump. I've done it a couple of times. I've gone, you know, sort of gone on a sort of clearing spree. I did it in the loft. And then it just fills up again. You chuck all this, oh, it's lovely and empty now. And then a couple of weeks later, oh, I just put that up in the loft. And then it fills up again. What's the point? Oh, dear. Buy a tent. No, Mark, you're quite right. I don't like the fees, you see. I wouldn't mind, I'd perhaps buy a caravan and, but I object to paying all that money, then I would object to paying ground rent. It just isn't worth it. Unless you're going to live in a caravan for 6 months a year, it's really not worth buying one. And then some people say, oh, well, you can buy it and rent it out. Well, what's the point in buying it then for yourself? The idea of buying a caravan is that you can put your stuff in there and it's yours and no one else is going to go in there. No point in buying it and then renting it out so that you can afford to have it. What's the point of that? No, you might as well go and hire one. They're all nice and clean. I'm not buying a blow-up doll, Angela. I don't need one of those, darling. Angela's trying to get hold of the cash now. Look, shall I give you my bank details, Angela? You can be one of those people from Nigeria. Hello, I am a rich businessman in Nigeria. I want to send you $10 million. All you've got to do is give me your bank account number and I'll send it over. All right, yeah, sure, mate. When they ring up here, I keep them talking on the phone. They get ever so angry sometimes. Are you wasting my time? Yes! Oh, dear. Adrian wants a new glass eye. Well, go and buy one then. You can make one yourself, can't you? John's going to buy an iPhone, but he got an LG 4K TV as well. Does the same thing at a third of the price. I've got a lovely telly downstairs, 65-inch LG telly downstairs it is. Oh, it's lovely. Really good picture. And a lot of those Netflix, I'm on the HD Netflix thing. It's about £10 a month. And, oh my God, the picture quality on some of that programs are fantastic, aren't they? On the 4K. Because, of course, the whole 3D thing, I knew that was never going to take off. Do you remember that? About 4 years ago, 5 years ago, they were all pushing these blooming high definition, the 3D televisions at us. You go in the shop, you put the glasses on, yeah, it looks all right. But will it sell the TV? Well, a few people bought them, but not many. Sky, didn't they drop their 3D TV channel? I know the BBC, they started to, I think, investigate about it and then shelved the plans for a 3D channel. That's some years ago now. I know where all the time goes. It goes quicker and quicker as you get older, I tell you that. Adrian lost his glass eye in a game of marbles. Oh, do you know what? Whenever people say something, I've always got a story to tell. Here's another one. So years ago, I was 16 years old. I was on a Scout Jamboree. Now, we were supposed to go to Iran for a Scout Jamboree. What's a Scout Jamboree? Scouts from all over the world, and I was specially selected. And from all over the world, they choose a country to go to, and everyone goes there from all foreign countries, all nationalities, all creeds, colours and religion, and we meet. Isn't it a shame the world ain't like that? Anyway, that's how it was. And actually, with children, it's easy. There is no hate with little children at all. They all just get on. Don't matter what colour they are or anything like that. There's no hate within children. The hate comes from people higher, older up who instigate it into them, you see. I mean, it's probably an argument to be said for a world run by little children. I say that. At least we'd all get free sweets, wouldn't we? And jelly and cakes. Yes, please. Anyway, so that's a jamboree. So all these people, all these children, young, and it was all boys. There were no girls then. We now have girls in Scouts. I don't get that. It was always Boy Scouts and Girl Guides. Now, I believe, well, I know you have Girl Scouts. Now, do you have Boy Guides? I don't get it. But anyway, that's how it is now. But at the time, it was all boys. So we were supposed to go to Iran, but troubles were starting there. So this would be 1979 it was. So that was called off. And instead, all the Scouts of the world just went on different holidays. And we went to America. It was the first time I'd been to America. And we started off at a place called... so we flew Laker Airways to JFK, if I remember rightly. What happened there? I don't know if we stayed there or what in New York after that flight. That part of the journey isn't in my head. I don't remember getting off in New York, but I do remember then getting on a Greyhound bus. And we didn't have Greyhound buses here. We had the National Express, but these Greyhound buses were blooming marvellous. They were all air conditioned. And I remember being on this and we were travelling through the night. It may be that we got off the plane and straight onto the Greyhound bus. That may be the case. I can't remember exactly, okay? But nevertheless, I remember being on this Greyhound bus, and it was the middle of the night. We were travelling through the night, and I slept on the bus. Literally fell asleep. And I remember waking up, and I was blooming cold because the air conditioning wasn't. It was very hot. 1979, and it would be in the middle of their summer. And we ended up at a place called Sebumac. S-E... B double. I wonder. Hang on. Sebumac. Campground. That's got to be it. Is that it? Sebumac Wilderness Campground. Moosehead Lake. That rings a bell. And it's in Maine. Yes. Yeah, we were going to Maine. So we were driving from New York to Maine. Is that a long distance? Perhaps Lisa will know that. So we were going from New York to Maine, and we were starting at Sebumac Wilderness Campground. I remember it so well. And we were staying in a little hut, it was proper rooms. It wasn't tents there. And it was all surrounded by trees, and there were tents there as well. I think I've got the badge. 1 minute. Let me just go and get my old Scout t-shirt. Look at this. I've got it. I've only got it. Isn't it funny how this show goes? You never know what we're going to talk about next. Here's my old Scout shirt. Now, I'm sure one of the badges on here... Here's my Scout shirt, look. My old Scout shirt, right? I'm sure one of the badges on here is Sebumac. There's the main one. That's afterwards, though. Oh, I wish... Gilwell Park, that's like a main... I don't know if these places are still here. That was a main Scout place. Oh, it's not on there. I always thought there was... 1977, that was the Queen's Silver Jubilee, and we all got a special badge for that, you see. No, there's no Sebumac. I thought there was a... Here it is. I knew it. It is. Sebumac. There it is, look. Sebumac, USA. Can you see that all right there? That's the badge. And I bought that there. We were probably given that there. And so we're in a hut, and I made a friend. You know, you got special friends in the huts. And we all travelled. We all walked from there into this. We were only there, I think, 1 or 2 nights. I can't remember how long we were there. Just a very short period, maybe up to 3 nights, possibly even. Yeah, and we went into this place for dinner, and it was like, you know, typical American dinner, like hot dogs and baked beans and that. Lisa says it's about 5 or 6 hours to get to Maine on the Greyhound coach. I'd do it again, Lisa. I've got to do that again. I had such a wonderful time. The trouble is I'm nothing to do with the Scouts anymore. I became a leader when I was 21. I found that hard going. It was hard work being a scout leader, so I gave that up in the end because work came on as well. So we went into this place for dinner, and I remember the song they taught us. So American bloke stood up, and this place is full of scouts from all over the place. A lot of Americans there, of course, and they taught us this song. We are marching to Sir Boomac, here we come. I remember that song. Yeah. And there were things to do there, like rope climbing and knots and the usual things that scouts do. But what I hated was the toilets. I hated the toilets because the toilets were... So you know you've got like a really old-fashioned toilet, which is like a piece of wood with a hole cut in the middle of it, but smoothed off so you don't hurt your bum, right? So there was this building, and I kid you not, all these there was like a long bench. I can only describe it as a bench with loads of holes in it, and you'd sit there doing your business. There was no door or wall in between the bloke next to you. Oh no, I couldn't. I hated that. Oh God, I remember that so well. I absolutely hated having to share the toilet, and I'd wait until there was no one in there. And then they had a staff toilet, which was like a cubicle. Well, I used to go in there. I couldn't do that. Oh, it was awful. So I would have been 16 at the time. And I smoked. I was 16 years old. All the English boys smoked. We all smoked. The Americans couldn't believe it. Well, these are young boys and they're smoking. Well, we did. That was it. Sabumac Adventure. Blimey, that's... it was great. And from there, we went to Maine High Adventure. Was it called a park? Area. And that's the badge for there. Maine High Adventure Area, see? And there we did 50 miles canoeing and walking. And Maine is... This is in Maine in the USA. And let me tell you, it is the most beautiful place in the world. So we had a guide with us, and on the first day, we were in tent there. We were in a tent there. So we set up our tent and got the bits and pieces there. My friend was in another group, so he wasn't with me. So we got split up. And for some reason, and I don't know why, I didn't quite gel with this group that I was with. And I have no idea why that was. I don't know why. I felt like the odd one out. You know, as perhaps you have done sometimes yourself at school or something. I really felt like the odd one out, but nevertheless, I got on with it. And we went in this canoe. They took us out in the canoe to test to see how we could do, and we had to tip the canoe over and get out. They were like Indian canoes, you know, open. So you didn't have that little bit of rubber around you like they do when you see them in whitewater rafting and all that business. There was none of that. They were open canoes, similar to like Oxford and Cambridge use. So we're going testing this thing out in the lake and all that. And it was really hot. Really hot. 1979 summer. And I think after a day or two, off we went on our travels. And we had a guide with us. He had a gun. He had like a rifle. And he had a radio receiver. There were no mobile phones then. That didn't exist. The guide had a radio. And every night, he would have the radio in at a given time. I don't know, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. And he would radio in. to tell them that we're all right. And I remember someone asking, what if they can't get hold of you? Well, they don't worry too much unless a couple of days have passed. Oh, right, okay. And we'd have all our tents and our clothes and a rucksack and all our food. Everything had to be carried on these canoes, you see. And sometimes those lakes, they were enormous lakes, and they had their own waves. And it was a particular day I remember, and I've actually got a Super 8 cine film of this somewhere, and no way of looking at it. There was one day that we were coming into this little island. That's where we can't literally, you'd row to another island and set up camp on there. And generally there'd be a very basic toilet on there, and perhaps a fire pit, and that would be it. When I say a basic toilet, I mean a hole in the ground. That's it, with a little wooden thing around it. Flies and all that. Oh, vile. And on this particular day, the weather had been bad, and it was raining, and the waves were all over us, and we were shaking from left to right. And we got onto this island, and I've jumped up the top of the island with my camera, filming all this going on. Well, they started shouting at me, didn't they? Didn't like that. Why aren't you helping us? You shouldn't be up there filming. Well, I've got all this on film. One day I'll have it converted onto a DVD. I think you can send them away now, and I'll be able to upload it and perhaps show you. But it's years old. I don't think I'm on it at all. I was just doing all the filming all the time. They were on those little cine films. You put this film into your cine camera, and like for, I don't know how long you had, 20 minutes or so. No, 4 minutes. 4 minutes, one of these things. Then you'd have to put another one in. Unfortunately, the camera broke down and stopped working after a while, but that's the way it goes. And they weren't happy about me filming, but I've got all that on the film, you see. And then we cook ourselves, you know. We'd have a lot of packets of dried food and things like that. So why did the bloke have a gun? Well, there's blooming bears walking around, that's why. There were bears walking around here, great big grizzly bears. Now, we never saw one, not a single bear, but nevertheless, they were walking around. But there was no electricity, no gas, no lights. And to be sitting there on the edge of this lake with it lapping up and watching the sun go down, wow, that was a wonderful time, that was. And that was where we went instead of the Scout Jamboree to Iran. I think we had a really good time. I think at the time, I wasn't keen at the time. You know, all this was going on, and I didn't dislike anyone. I just wasn't getting on with them, perhaps like I'm getting on with you tonight. You know what I mean? I felt very lonely there, like I didn't have a friend. And then after that trip, which was the most fun, now I can sit here, now that I'm older, and appreciate everything that there was there. And I'm so glad I did it. And I got my Uncle Terry, who died. He died last year. He actually paid for it because we were poor. You know, we couldn't afford to do these things. So my uncle paid for me to go to America, which I think at the time was about £120. It's nothing now, is it? But that's what it was then, you know, 1979. And then after that wonderful trip, we then went and stayed with a couple of families. And the first family was in Boston. The name Fagerberg rings a bell. Mr. Fagerberg, possibly. Fagerberg and his family. And he was a short man, a little bit big, with a moustache. And there was me and 3 others, possibly from other groups. I can't remember now. And we all got together and stayed at his house for a week or so. And the highlight of that for me was he had a CB radio. And I'd never seen one of these before. And I thought it was so fantastic to be able to pick up this microphone and talk to someone 40 miles away. No wires. I loved this. And he had it in his car, you see. And I said, what's that? That's a CB radio. And I kind of knew what they were. And I'm like, wow. And it was on AM. You just dial up a channel and start talking to someone randomly. I was amazed by this CB radio. And he was a lovely, lovely family. Lovely family. It was him, his missus was tall and thin, black hair. Did they have any children? I'm not sure they had any children themselves, actually. They must have done. I think we shared a room. And did he have a piano? I don't know. But one night they had a Chinese meal. Well, I'd never had a Chinese meal. I didn't like the sound of eating Chinese food. I don't touch it today. They had this Chinese meal and the food just kept coming. It was wonderful what they did for us, this family. They must have had children. Must have had children. Anyway, so we had this Chinese meal and the food just kept coming, and we had the prawn crackers and this, that, and pork balls and things like that. I don't know where they were. Anyway, so we had that, and then we went to bed. Well, that night I was as sick as a dog that night. I didn't wake anyone up. I went into the bathroom and I just chucked the whole lot up into the toilet. And it didn't agree with me at all. And I never touched it after that. I never went back. I'm sure there was nothing wrong with it at all. I was the only one that was sick. Just didn't want the food. Didn't like it. I remember when it come out. I thought, oh my God, Chinese food. But you don't say anything. I was far too polite. Not some people now. They just tell you, wouldn't they? Oh no, I was far too polite to say anything. So we had that food. And then another day we went down by I think a lake somewhere, and the lady brought out a picnic, and we sat there and had picnic, apples and sandwiches and things like that. And then I wanted to buy a pair of Levi's jeans. So she took me to this shop and I found a pair of Levi's jeans, and I bought those in there. It was my first pair of Levi's jeans. I was so excited going into this shop. It was just a normal shop, just a normal little side. It was like a little side shop. It weren't like a big department store like Macy's or, John Lewis. It was just like a little shop, like Millet's or something like that. Smaller than them. It was dark. It was. How can I see this now? I haven't seen this for years. It was dark and narrow, if I remember rightly, and it kind of opened up at the back, and there was all hundreds and hundreds of pairs of Levi's jeans hanging out, and they were dirt cheap. We thought they were, because they were very, very expensive here. They were pennies over there, honestly. Is there anything else I can remember about that? No, that's about it. But this family were wonderful. And then from there, we went to stay with another family. But we were split up there, and I was on my own. And this family came forward, and there was a boy and his dad and his mum. And that didn't work out quite so well. I don't think they liked the fact that I smoked. And they were nice enough, but it didn't work quite so well, sometimes you marry up with people all right, and other times it doesn't work quite so well. I mean, they were wonderful and all that. Lovely family in New York they were. And we went on the train, and I remember being in New York City, and there was a fire. And that was very exciting, because they don't have fires in New York City, apparently. So that's what they told me. And I shared the room with their son. And they had air conditioning on them one night. It got really cold in there, and he got up and turned the air conditioning off. And then at one of the meals, we were having this, I think, a rice pudding or something. And they'd invited a family round, and I was quite quiet. I wasn't very talkative at all. And the lady, she said, "Okay, no one move. Oh, what's happened now?" People, her husband said, "What's happened?" She said, "I've dropped one of my contact lenses." And we're on the floor looking for this contact lens. She's got a spoon in the rice pudding, trying to find it. I think they found it in the end. But they're a lovely family, and it's so nice of them to look after me, and they let me ring my mum. I said, "Oh, can I use your phone? I'll give you the money for it," and all that. And I think they let me use the phone. I don't think they asked for the money in the end, but it was a relatively expensive thing to do, call aboard. In the certainly in the 70s and the 80s, it was very expensive to call aboard, and I managed to speak to my mum, and I was a bit happier after that. And as I say, they were a lovely family, but it didn't quite click as well as it did with the other family, just one of those things, really. But that was my time in America. That was my first time in America, and I would dearly love to go back to Maine. I wouldn't be able to do it as a scout, though, you see, because I'm not in the scouts. Whether or not you could visit these places as a non-scout and as a person that had been there like almost 40 years ago now, are you allowed to? Well, I could just contact them and ask them. And I would go back to Maine and have a look. I'd love to have a look around again, possibly go on a little bit of a trip. Presumably, there's probably private companies that would take you on these things. You don't necessarily have to be in the Scouts, but then I wouldn't be able to do the Scout thing. You know, you'd be with another company or something like that. Oh, hey, look, Adrian here. Adrian says you call CB radio equivalent to that. Is Grindon? Well, it wasn't then. You didn't really. Actually, yeah, you did use the CB radio. Here in the UK, you would use CB radio to try and talk to girls. That's how I met my wife on CB radio, believe it or not. Her name was Ginger. I was Matchbox and Ginger. That's right. Let's just go back a little bit there. Did you eat porridge? Did I sleep in Baby Bear's bed? No, it was... we were sleeping in we slept in a tent on a blooming hard floor. God. But it was great. I can sit here now and tell you that it was absolutely great in Maine. I wish I appreciated it a little bit more at the time. I think that's the sort of thing you are, you know, when you're a child. You certainly don't appreciate things. Certainly not what your mum and dad does for you. You don't appreciate that, do you, when you're younger? You do when you've got older. You do even more when they've died. That's when you really appreciate everything they've done for you. Let's have a look. There you go. John says, what's missing for the youth of today is the great outdoors. Would not be allowed today. I think some of the stuff that we did in the Scouts certainly wouldn't be allowed today. I mean, I remember being in Scout huts and we had these primus stoves, which were like gas stoves, but you used to fill them with paraffin. You fill this thing with paraffin, and then you pump this thing, give it pressure, like that. And you'd light it, and this flame would shoot up into the air. There's more than one Cub Scout I know lost their eyebrows on that. But now, I don't suppose they're allowed to do that now, are they? To use anything like that? I don't know, really. And if it did happen, you get some parent, oh, you're not looking after my kid, all right. Look what he's done to his hair. Oh, give it a rest, love. It's an accident. Dear me. Alan's just bought his daughter a pair of jeans. 50 quid. Well, that's not bad, Alan. 50 quid for a pair of jeans. Dear me. That's not bad at all. I bought some from Selfridges. 200 quid they were. Nice fit, though. £75 for a pair of trainers. Blimey. I've got like a limit on train. I won't spend any more than 50 quid on a pair of trainers. My nephew he used to spend £200 on trainers. It's a lot of money, isn't it? A lot of money. I'll just quickly go down a little bit. John says the kayaking. I think it was a kayak, yes. The only kayaking I do is in the Scouts was in the Docklands, where Canary Wharf is now. Presumably, I don't know if I wouldn't imagine that the Scouts would go canoeing on the Thames. I can't see that happening, really. That there used to be Sea Scouts, which were. There was a Sea Scout group actually on the Thames in Putney Sea Scouts. I remember them. And there was Air Scouts as well, you know. You could join these sort of different sections of Scouts and all that sort of thing. Good. Let's have a look here. John was touring with marching band in the States in 1988 and the air conditioning broke down on a bus. We were on the bus for 6 hours, dehydrated, people passing out all over the place. Oh, that sounds awful. Well, of course, the trouble is in buses and indeed on the trains here, you can't open the windows anymore. You cannot physically open the windows. There are no windows to open. So when the aircon breaks down, it's terrible. Terrible. They should leave things so you can open those. Don't go to Milwaukee. It's as boring as hell. Is it really? Thank you, Ben. 400 miles between New York and Maine. I certainly would go back there. I certainly would go back to Maine. In fact, I must do that. I must do that. Evening, Heidi, who was in the Brownies. Then she went into the Girl Guides. Yes. Okay. Good. We call trainers nappies. Do you really? No. I know what you mean now. Trainers nappies. They've. What do you call soft shoes then in Australia? Because I know you call flip flops thongs, don't you? Flip flops are thongs, eh? Something like that. Right, I think we've had a good old chat tonight. I'm going to go now. I'm going to just do today's birthdays while it's still Tuesday. And I will be back with you tomorrow morning, sort of around about 9:30ish tomorrow, okay? 9:30 tomorrow. We'll do that tomorrow. Only 5 birthdays today. Happy birthday to Ruth Cantwell. Happy birthday, Ruth. Nice to see you pop up there. Voix. Good evening, Voix. A great drag act. Lovely person. His name's Chris. And I worked with him before he was a drag actor at Heaven, when I used to DJ at a place called Heaven, which is in London. Voix was on the bar there, literally walking on the bar, up and down, serving drinks. Now she's a top international drag queen. Happy birthday to Voix. Happy birthday today to Ali Silva on this Tuesday, the 17th of April. Chris Beeching is a young 59 years old. And Richard Barrett, who I haven't seen for ages and ages. It's his birthday as well today. So happy birthday to you, Richard. Wrong tune. Here it comes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ruth, Voix, Ali, Chris and Richard. Happy birthday to you. Is our birthdays done? Signed, sealed and delivered. Adrian says, is like ABC Club being Boy Scouts. I don't know what that is, ABC Club. Perhaps you'll tell me next time you see me, all right? Okay, we're off, boys and girls. Thank you ever so much for joining us on this very, very long show today. 2.5 hours we've been here, dear. 2.5 hours. Wow. I'm going to go downstairs and have a cup of tea now and one of my Slimming World chocolate fingers. Orange flavour. Very, very nice. Heaven is indeed in Charing Cross Road. You're quite right. Have a nice evening and I'll see you again tomorrow morning right about 9:30 in the morning. Okay? Thank you very much for watching and listening. Cheerio now.